Congrats.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I definitely wasn't just audibly leveling a character from 1 to 61 by magic. That would have been crazy.
Wait, when did you start doing this?
A while ago, although the camera looks... So we're in a new streaming space this week, guys, so I maybe have to adjust some things on the fly. Let's see, can I take that up to 20? No, 20 makes it worse. 20 makes it worse. Sorry. We're professionals. There we go. That looks better. So I have to adjust some things on the fly to make sure they're looking to the level of professionalism that you've come to expect from a Star Trek Online stream, including the fact that Jeremy's name is on the screen right now, but is not here.
He'll be here.
Yeah, he'll be here eventually.
Maybe not. He's working on something. I gotta say though, the reason he's not here is he's working on something that's pretty effing rad.
I am deeply curious as to what that is, and we'll have to ask you later.
Right.
Oh, is it the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a thing.
It's
obviously.
thing.
Okay. Well, you ready for a blast from
Obviously
the
the
past?
thing.
I don't have, I guess, an updated version of this stream name template from the old, because I switched sides again. So we're going to have to go to my original stream name template to put you up.
Okay.
It's so classy looking.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's good. Hey, can I tweet?
Yeah,
On
tweet away.
Hey, do you guys love it or hate it when you're at a concert or a public event and the star is like, oh my god, and they take like photos of the audience?
Love that, but I've never seen it at like a concert. I've only seen it at like conventions.
So what if can I take a selfie with me in the monitor? Is that the same? It's not really the same.
It's kind of the same thing. It's close enough.
Kind of the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing.
Oh god. Oh, I got it.
You gotta switch to selfie mode.
Selfie, like get in there.
Oh, there's a button on the side. Okay.
Well,
I was trying to help you out.
No, one more. We got this is the Instax. Awesome.
Is this the best stream you guys have ever seen? Is it? Anthony James says, thanks for watching Priority 1 last night. Now he can watch you. Okay. That's not creepy at all.
Welcome, I guess.
Yeah, Thomas texted me on my drive home last night. Was like, is it okay if I go on Priority 1? And I was like, sure. And he was like, they haven't asked. And I was like, I'm confused.
Well, I asked them a leading question that I don't think they understood was the leading question. I was like, do you guys have any special guests tonight? And they're like, no, not until next week. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, Thomas. Oh, buddy. They still love you, probably.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll take it out.
Yeah.
At STLV.
Which actually follows up correctly with a question we just got. Somebody said, do you have any STLV news tonight? We don't. But we will.
I have personal STLV news.
Oh, yeah?
And then I personally will be there.
I also will personally be at STLV.
We will personally be at STLV.
I think if there's ever an STLV that Thomas and I are not both at while we're both working at Star Trek Online, we're probably dead.
Right.
I mean, I would say, even not working at Star Trek Online for you, I think, like,
right.
You could be working on the Old Republic and you'd still go to STLV every year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the face that he just made?
Sorry,
he was trying not to
be a good sport about that. Trying to be a good sport about
Oh, Black Dust says it's not a selfie, it's a stealthy. I like that.
Okay,
You know,
cool.
like Star Trek stealthy.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Chris Tansley says we're both special. Okay, cool.
We are. That's what our mothers tell us.
Shane Hammer says, are we ready for real starships? Do you have real starships to give us? Because
what is
yes,
real?
Like if you've got like an Enterprise that Thomas and I can captain. I mean, we're admirals in Starfleet now, officially in Shield of Tomorrow.
I had to retcon that a bit, but yeah. I mean,
because you're
I'm a captain.
You have two Starfleet characters with your name.
Right, yeah.
That's right. I'm an
but
admiral.
I read that as like jock jams. Like, are you ready for some starship?
What? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, cool. Well, you want to look at some fan art? Too bad, you have to.
Sorry, there's a...
Get off your phone, Thomas. You're on a stream.
You're not my dad.
Yes, I am.
No.
Yeah, it's a weird time travel thing.
These are...
That's
pretty fantastic.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Eric is going to make comments about shipping us again. But...
That's okay.
All right, so you're going to get interested in these first pictures.
I've shipped with worse.
That's true. You'll be interested in some of these first pictures we got, Thomas, because it is images of a 3D ship somebody got.
Nikes.
This is from David Hoffman, who sent us in a bunch of images of his Cardassian cruiser. Oh, it's Jeremy!
Hey! Hey, sneaking in.
no!
We were telling them about how you weren't here because you were working on something that was like super amazing,
super important
that we think we would really like.
You're just so close too.
Is it this? So this is without you guys being able to answer this question on stream. Are like, because I know there's a kind of a back and forth with this thing. Are we almost there? Oh, watch the everything.
Break everything.
Pick it up.
We are almost there.
That is awesome. I can't wait.
as
Because what I've
always,
seen of it looks really cool. But
with game development, the last 10% is the first 90%.
Yep.
So,
Or the last 10.
10% is 90% every time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The last 10% of your time. Anyway, hi Jeremy. Jeremy's here.
Good. Now I can keep texting.
Hi, Internet.
Stop!
It's
No.
not rude.
Oh, can I
Cat.
text too?
Hey!
Just send Thomas a text.
Let's all send Thomas text silently on the stream.
Lol.
This is blasphemy, isn't it? Having this on our
Dude, I was taking an official picture of Rikosa earlier today for reasons, and he texted me about half an hour before with, "I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt today. Is that a problem?" I'm like, yes, it is.
It is a problem.
It's a
Matter of
huge problem. All right, so anyway, this is a 3D picture. Picture of a.
It is in 3D.
Well,
I mean, because it's real.
yes, okay. It's a 3D printed Cardassian starship. I keep wanting to call it Ferengi for some reason. Thomas, what class is that?
It's a Keldon.
It's a Cardassian.
Keldon. I know it's a Cardassian.
They're keeping up with the Cardassians.
Yeah, that
This-
joke is
No
never
one has
made.
ever made that joke in the
Ever.
history of jokes.
This light is super hot. I look white on this side. It's awesome.
So
Jeremy,
I
you
just typed
quite
in.
on all sides.
Okay.
I just typed in on Star Trek Online's live stream.
Live
which I-
stream?
Yeah, which I don't.
Good
think-
lord!
that
If
sounds
we're on a live
awful.
stream, you need to not be in between the two of us. All right, here's another picture of an up close, some detail work. Looks super cool.
Yeah.
This is actually up here. You guys can't see what I'm pointing at. Let me see if the mouse does it.
They added that themselves, right? Our ships aren't that detailed.
No, they are.
yeah.
I mean, hey.
This kind of almost looks like a wood varnish up here, which I kind of really like.
Yeah, it's just a darker.
Yeah.
It's a pattern they're using.
Yeah. And here's another one from the top. It's beautiful.
Whose ship is this?
This is David Hoffman's Cardassian ship.
Congratulations on choosing a fine-looking ship.
Yeah, it is a good ship. Although I got the first image of mine being painted, and I was actually told by Mixed Dimensions that it is the coolest ship they've done.
Nice.
So far.
They surely don't tell that to every person.
No,
That
definitely
means that
not.
You need to come and show it off on the live stream so people
Once
can
I
try to
have
one-up
it,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll start a contest. It'll be like I've been
Be
listening.
cooler than Kale.
Yeah, that's not a hard contest. Let's talk about the ships. This picture was taken in the same kind of hot light that Jeremy is experiencing right now.
Yeah. That's and it's cool.
It's a good
they
lighting
even did the Cardassian logo there.
Yeah.
That's really
It's super neat.
neat.
Yeah.
You know, if we were in black and white, this would just be like totally film noir.
It
Like,
would
with
be.
This harsh side light.
Meme Ranglout says that for some reason you look like you come in from the 80s with the haircut and t-shirt.
This is not a haircut. This is a lack of haircut.
He got no hairs cut.
Yeah, I got to take care of that before Vegas.
Yeah. No, Duncan, Idaho,
comes
as
animal.
much as I wish, what Jeremy was not working on was a Renegade's Regret style mission where you play as a tardigrade. I would play the heck out of that, and we should do that, but that's not what he was
Let me take some notes.
doing. All right, some pictures from Duncan, Idaho, who sent us his ship's encounter with the Sally Ride, which we just added to the game. Which is he's recreated a
cool.
shot from Star Trek Nemesis here. That's cool.
That's gotta be terrifying for them.
Yeah, like what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh, you're just here to pick up your Admiralty ship. Okay. And here's another shot of it. Yeah, way to cast yourself as the villain here, Duncan.
Yeah, I don't.
That looks. Yeah.
I don't know if I wonder if Eric's gotten that card yet. I wonder if he's like seen the reference we made to him.
I mean,
Because he made us admirals, but I made
we made him
admiral
admiral. Yeah,
before.
we're all admirals.
Right. Everyone's an
It's
admiral.
just
I feel like-
STO.
Yes.
I feel like except for the fact that I think he had to go straight to SDCC this week. I think probably the first thing Eric did as soon as he had a moment's free time was get online and get the Admiralty card.
Claim his ship.
Yeah. All right. Sean Word just sent us some shots of the ship we're going to look at tonight, the Excelsior.
Yes.
Which is
Good.
really
That's why
this
you're
is
here.
look at the ample nacelles on this craft, if I may quote an official Star Trek line. This is
Same. Yeah.
same ship, different angle.
Yep.
Very cool.
Same ship, different day.
Very close up of I'm going to say docking bay and probably wrong. Might be a deflector.
No, that's the cargo bay.
Cargo bay,
The rear
cool.
cargo bay. That things theoretically you could dock with. So
I didn't realize there was a registry there.
There is. I discovered that while looking at copious amounts of reference.
Nice.
So the model has it.
Pretty
Actually,
cool.
yeah.
This I love when people go to the captain's table system and take ships because it take screenshots with their ships because it always looks just so freaking cool.
And I just love that zone actually gets a little bit of use.
Right?
Yeah. I had an idea for that zone.
So did I.
So did I. We should
think
all talk about our
everyone's
ideas.
Sometime in the past.
Yeah.
But it was an idea. It's like, oh, if we had thought of that before Delta Rising, like it would have worked.
we're a little late on that. A little late on the uptake. Duncan Idaho says he's now obligated to make evil tardigrade art. You should. Please do that immediately.
Evil? Is it gonna have a goatee?
Well, because he was a little mustache and a monocle apparently.
Oh, okay.
Had a top hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
a tiny little top hat?
Yeah.
Had a jaunty angle?
Yeah. RTK142 says that I am cooler than them, which is even easier apparently than being cooler than me. I couldn't possibly confirm or deny, but if you come and hang out with us at STLV,
RTK, I think you're cool.
you will become even cooler. Jeremy, are you going to be at STLV?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's three of us. I knew you were. I just wanted you to say it on the air.
Jeremy personally will be at STLV.
Jeremy personally.
Personally. In person.
In fact, any questions that anyone has about anything to do with math is just being directed directly to Jeremy, as I said in a staff meeting the other day, when he then looked at me like he was going to murder me right there on the spot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I guess I'll just have to print out a few reams of
Sometimes, Mike,
spreadsheets.
you should make a picture of Maui from Moana, which is the "You Were Welcome" caption, and just like hold it up when you do things like that.
I actually have been tempted in the past to print out our class spreadsheets just to see how much physical space they take up.
A lot.
But I don't think that a ream of paper would serve all at once.
It would be great actually for one of your panels at STLV to just walk on stage.
These
and go,
are ship classes. So are these.
Oh, that would be awesome.
These are the ship classes we've added since I started working here. All right. So here's some pictures from Mark Poolman, who sent us, I believe. Yep, some postcards from Ryza. There's a lovely Jem Hadar in a baseball outfit.
I love Ryza so much.
Me too. Well, we'll probably go be hanging out there while we're doing your Q&A later today.
Cool.
You know.
I should clarify. As a game developer on this game, I love what Ryza does for our game.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm getting at. Like,
yeah.
I love that the players love it. That they go here and they fly around and make postcards.
Yeah, it's great. The summer event is like my favorite event of the year.
Sometimes video games just need to be games.
Yeah.
Right. It's okay to have fun in your video game.
Yeah.
It's okay to not take yourself so seriously, but you can't have a baseball hat in your regular uniform.
Now I understand that part of this, the Star Trek, like people that play our game want to be something. They want to be a Starfleet captain, and so like being part of a war, a galactic conflict is important. But it's also a video game.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta put that aside, jump on a jetpack, have some fun.
Yeah.
And I love that it exists.
Picard Alpha 2 clearance says that at STLV you will be signing autographs in math, so you get to figure that out now.
A formula that equals Jeremy?
Yeah.
Or Borticus?
Yes. It has to equal both.
Well, I mean, you charge more for the boarding. No,
you charge. Oh, there you go. You
tier
charge
pricing.
More. Yeah.
You do Jeremy at tier 1, Borticus tier 2, and Curlin tier 3.
Or you could buy a blind pack that might have one of the autographs. I love that they're doing that at conventions now.
I'll give away the blind pack.
Yeah. Oh, if you don't see that, people now do like you spend like $40 on a pack, but it's got $60 worth of merchandise in it.
Oh, okay.
But you don't know what you're getting until you open it.
It's like a loot crate
for real life.
Yeah,
and it's often like themed around something. So like the Ready Player One pack will have like a bunch of Atari crap in it and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, more postcards from Ryza.
Maybe I could do short ones that just say JR. That's a mathematical.
And then people will wonder who shot you.
Okay.
I went there too.
Yeah.
Which I think makes us old.
Both super old.
That's a Dallas reference?
It's a Dallas reference.
Actually, you know what?
Show?
I bet
before our time, but
a bit older.
I think some of our players have watched Dallas for sure.
That's older than TNG, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Dallas is one of the shows that kind of paved the way for that evening drama.
Yeah.
Aaron
Chevalier says, thanks for off-duty ball caps, you guys. You're welcome. That was 100% me in that I emailed Thomas and he emailed Ian and Ian made it happen.
Yeah. So thank you, Ian Castaneda,
for doing
our lead character artist. You are awesome.
He's
we really appreciate you.
I really like this building, on the main like party hub on Ryza. It's just got a really cool look to it.
Yeah.
I like to imagine sometimes that I have a room there.
Yeah.
While the event's going on.
And there's like big dance parties happening.
We should do like and I'm sure that this has been done in the Foundry, but like a murder mystery on Ryza.
Oh, dude,
like
that would
really
be cool. Foundry authors, get on that. If you make me a murder mystery,
to do a nighttime version.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't bring that up live. What have you done? Why? Here we have a mustachioed Andorian relaxing on a chair.
Burt Thronalds.
And hitting it out of the... I love this emote. But right now, what I really love is the fact that how well these antennae work with this baseball cap.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Have players tried to hit the ball into
I have
Quinn's
hit it.
face?
I don't know about Quinn. I think people were threatening to do that. I hit Maria's in the face with it a few times on the stream last week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was telling me to dance, and I was smacking her with baseballs.
It's kind of a shame that the balls are physics objects that only render locally. Like, I'd love for players to be able to like have home run contests or something, you know.
Yeah.
But nobody else can see your.
Do they see you at least like swinging the bat?
Yeah, and they see you throw up the ball until it hits the bat, and then at that point
then
it becomes a
physics
local render only.
Yeah.
Well, maybe next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
We did
play. I don't know if you guys watched. We did go play baseball last time because somebody made a Foundry baseball map.
Oh, really?
So I put my boffs on the bases and knocked it, and then they couldn't move, so I ran the bases.
I win!
The captain has ordered us not to move from this spot, no matter what happens. So I saw a couple really good ideas. Sir Boulevard says everybody wants suite rooms at Ryza. That's how we finally do player housing. You get a hotel room, and you can only access it once a year for 2 months.
He's not actually typing anything.
What? And then someone else mentioned that we should just have Slamic wandering around Ryza going, it's too bright here.
It is too bright. It's too bright here.
Listen, buddy. I had to move this.
Did we lose one?
No, we only have one.
Oh, okay.
I have whatever video equipment Perfect World has abandoned here and forgotten about. That's what I have.
Well, don't say that, because now they're going to be like, oh, that's where that went.
They actually did that. A couple of weeks ago, they were like, hey, can we have those back for a shoot? And I was like, after a year and a half, you remembered? Oh, my God. And then I forgot to bring them to... Anyway.
I gotta say, the green screen, I think, actually is...
It's nicer in here.
Better
This is actually making a nicer... The softbox is making a really nice thing on it.
So, hey, small
wins. Yep, and my 4th streaming room move. All right.
Yeah, I don't think we're actually stalling, but we're really drawing this out.
We are. It's like, have you guys ever seen, there's a band called Pollen Storm.
Yeah.
And they do, you know Pollen Storm.
Yeah.
They do this song called The Captain's Wife's Lament at the end of every concert, which is
a
a 30-second song that we can in no way quote here.
No.
But they draw it out to like 45 minutes, and it's the best. God, I love it.
That's a ship you don't see too often. It's a Hydrogen. I think is that even a player ship?
I don't know if that's a player ship. Tater sent these in.
It's the battleship, though.
Yeah.
Oh, we made that player ship? Okay,
cool. There's both the escort and the battleship
cool.
player available. From the good old Hirogen lockbox.
Yeah.
Hirogen? I should know this.
I don't.
Hirogen.
I do use the flippy console sometimes. Yeah. It's really cool.
It's neat.
The 180.
Yeah.
I think with Pollen Storm reminded me, you guys will get a kick out of this. One of the podcasts that I really love, The Adventure Zone, had a live episode in New York last night, and 2 of their hosts couldn't make it.
Aren't there only 4 of them?
There's only 4 of them, and 2 of their hosts got their flights canceled, so they had to do a last-minute replacement. And so their last-minute replacements to play these 2 characters were Mary Wiseman and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Are you serious?
Was this recorded?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
I'm so mad I wasn't there.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Right.
That podcast is that popular that they get those people?
Well, also, Lynn, I guess, has been a fan of them forever. I don't know how they know Mary Wiseman, but here's another awesome shot. I love the motion blur he added to the shuttles going by.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
Makes it very super cinematic. Anyway.
This is cool. We got some
Cardassian with some cool hair.
I always love seeing action shots of captains.
Yeah, me too. It's nice to see some ground stuff every now and then.
Also legit.
This is super nice, but this is actually my favorite. I just like this a lot.
Yeah.
With this crash.
Yeah,
that's really
runabout in the background.
Yeah, it's
super neat. That's one that we would probably throw into the loading screen contest if we ever did one again. So save it, Tater, and submit it when we do the next one of those, which we probably will. I don't know, sometime after STLV.
I just noticed, did he watermark that or did we?
He did.
Extra mile.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really. All right. Well, shall we take a look at this the ship Thomas is here to talk about?
Yeah.
I guess.
Jerk.
So this is the...
I didn't make any new powers for it.
Right.
Okay. So this is the revamped Excelsior.
Yep.
It's you confirming that I had the right ship?
No, I was just looking at something.
It was actually updated.
It was, yeah. Actually, if you do you wanna go to a map with a little better lighting?
Yeah, sure. What map should we go to?
DLT Takara.
Oh yeah, your favorite. I knew that.
It's a good map.
It is a good map.
I
would say ESD has like the brightest.
Good morning,
lighting.
Captain. Good morning, Captain.
Professional question. Lotus Souls Gaming says, "What's Cryptic's workplace diversity like?" It's most tech jobs I'd say in the Bay Area are still unfortunately fairly dude focused. We do have women who work here, and we do have people who aren't white who work here.
Yep.
And I probably don't represent them on the stream as much as I should.
No, but I don't think it's for any sort of cultural reason.
No, it's just...
This is a really sensitive topic, obviously.
Yeah.
So
but I can tell you, at least from my side, that I do a lot of the interviewing for designers that apply here. And frankly, we don't get many applicants that are any sort of minorities.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of a geographical thing.
I think the industry as a whole needs to build
absolutely
more
100%.
programs that outreach to people. I'm trying to think of the right word, but like people of all backgrounds at kind of the high school and college level to kind of prepare them if to see if career in games is what they want, and to create spaces where they have the resources to get into video games. Because I think the reason that all the gaming diversity and landscape is the way it is because you have a certain subset of people who have access to expensive machines and a bunch of free time to learn skills that prepare them for the industry even when they're studying something else in college or whatever, right? Like for me, like I learned how to use Photoshop because I had a relative who bought me a computer, and like I was a pretty standard middle class background, and I wanted to get into games, so I learned how to make mods and stuff. But like there are all these foundational circumstances that I had no control over, but sort of like prepared me and made it easier and easier for me to break into the industry. And people
it's actually the literal definition of the word privilege.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, it is. And so people who don't have those things, like it's just like having a career in games probably just doesn't occur to them that's a possibility because they can't spend those young years building foundational skill sets because they don't have the tools to do it, and they're not exposed to the communities that use those tools and stuff. So
I will say Maria and Julia have been heading up a thing here that they've been working really, really hard on trying to up Cryptic's hiring diversity and do a lot of outreach to like young women in tech who are like trying to learn how to get into this industry.
I think both of them on Twitter have mentioned like, the women in STEM programs, that kind of thing. Yeah,
which is really awesome.
Great. I would love to see more of that.
And on a sort of even sadder note, like one of the problems in terms of getting women on the stream is that half people I talk to in development who are women in development don't want to come on the stream for reasons that you guys probably know if you follow gaming news. Which is shitty. I shouldn't have said sworn, but
it is like I'll swear to. It's shitty. It's a shitty situation. It could. I mean,
all aspects of the industry can get better in this regard.
Right.
I think none of us is above at least trying.
If you want to help, like, find if you have a niece or a person, a person of color or something that is in their high school or college age and trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, like, find an old laptop or something if they don't have access to these tools, like,
help get them
access to these tools, show them how to start modding games, like, all that stuff is super important because you gotta be in an environment where you can foster these skills because it's just so much of game development in pretty much every area is about exercising an applied skill set. And going to school for something isn't necessarily grant you a foot in the door.
I know that there are some programs here in the Bay Area because it's so tech focused that can help like young underprivileged people get access to laptops and things like that. If anybody out there is watching and is interested, I'm sure there are at least some programs in your area that can support that kind of thing. Whether you want to get involved with donating equipment or money to those kind of things, or taking part, like I'm sure that
I think
it's
Nick
on a lot
works
of
with
us
something
that don't
like that.
suffer from those problems to help it, make it better for others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean we're we're in a weird spot right now because we're speaking on behalf of Cryptic on an
Right.
official Cryptic stream. So, and it's like,
And
hey,
just to
we're
make everything
we're
worse, we're just
three
we're just
white-
Three white dudes.
Three white dudes talking about
Seeing
diversity.
super white.
So,
talking about what people can. Yeah.
We're aware.
We're
it
aware.
could be.
I just got a Skype message. I really hope it's not Deanna going, stop.
We probably should stop.
We
anyway.
probably should.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks for asking a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're moving on now.
We are moving on now. Lotus Souls Gaming, who asked it, says, thank you guys, very well answered. Okay. Yeah, so people are asking about mod tools for STO. The Foundry is about as close as you can get, but the Foundry is pretty close in terms of level design. It's not as complex as the tools we use internally,
No.
but it'll give you a really good foundation for that
If you
sort of
ever had
thing.
an interest in getting into content development for Cryptic or for anybody else,
Yeah.
being able to at least show that you've done something like that,
Yeah.
that stuff's great for a resume.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
portfolio, you might call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just the sheer aspect of practicing and doing. I mean, there's a really good Ira Glass quote that somebody turned into a comic, Zen Pencil's comic, that's talking about how you part of being talented and part of doing something is having you have good taste. And so you're like, I have good taste. I know that this thing is good. I want to make something like it. But because you have good taste, you know that the first thing you made isn't actually good, right? And so the only way to get good is actually do it over and over and over again.
You guys know this. That is so hard.
Yeah, it's
like
hard.
I've been
it's
trying to
so
learn
easy.
Guitar again.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It is such a painful process.
Oh, man.
I hate myself every time I put that thing in my hands.
The only thing that's helped me become a somewhat decent writer recently is because the articles that I've written or the blogs that I've written for STO, I've got an audience that's kind of been like, oh, these are okay, which is like, because I read them and I'm like, I should never pick up a pencil again.
But even from a basic standpoint, in terms of writing, I'm just like getting used to writing narratively, or using proper grammar and spelling.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to publish at least 3 blogs a week probably helps practice
Right.
in some regard.
Yeah. Let's not go too hard into how perfect my blogs are with no mistakes.
I'm just saying practice makes better.
Makes better. Yeah. All right. So the Excelsior. Let's talk about this ship. Thomas, for people who are, I don't know, maybe they're brand new because they just found out about Discovery or something. What's the history of this ship?
So this ship was created for Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. It was supposed to be a new Starfleet ship, and actually, I guess, really want to get technical, I think it was maybe... Star Trek III actually was a really interesting movie in terms of how much it expanded the Star Trek universe, because Earth Space Dock showed up for the first time in Star Trek III, the USS Grissom, the Oberth class ship, the Bird of Prey, a lot of foundational iconic Star Trek designs showed up, were made for that movie, including
monster dogs.
Yeah, the USS Excelsior. I think it was designed by Bill George. Somebody can on the chat will correct me, I'm sure. But the idea behind it was, okay, this is, the Enterprise actually had been in service for 25 years, which not a lot of people remember, but it was actually a pretty old ship by the time Star Trek III rolled around. And so it was going to be decommissioned, and the Excelsior represented the new hotness, the brand new generation of Starfleet ship that would replace the Constitution class. And so it was meant to look big and powerful, but it was also meant to look a little ugly.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was on
aesthetically different.
Aesthetically different, but I think the idea, that the audience would side with Scotty when he gets really uppity about it, right? And so the kind of design principle that the designer took to was, okay, what if this was the 80s, so there was a lot of Japanese industrial design going on, and people buying Japanese cars and Japanese stereos and all that stuff. And so he's like, okay, the Excelsior is, what if the Japanese designed the Enterprise? What would it look like? And
specifically with the 1980s Japanese design.
Right. And so that's how they came up with kind of, that's the direction that they took the Excelsior in. And there are lots of really interesting study models they did for it that look very, very different from how it ended up.
Well, I see a lot of people in chat going, it's not ugly.
Yeah, I know. I like seeing that.
Well, right. But I mean,
you gotta remember that some of that is you guys through rosy-colored nostalgia glasses.
Right,
too.
right. I think that.
Well, but I mean, even the Constitution class is there's no what is it? There's no like objective. The Constitution class is the best looking ship ever. It's we love it because we loved that show.
Right. It's the difference. Like there, I mean, you can go to ArtStation or whatever, and you could see thousands of different random spaceships that concept artists have done for their portfolio, right? But it's just, okay, that's a cool spaceship, but it's the story that imbues that thing with a personality. And so for Star Trek 3, the story for the Excelsior was, oh, it's, transwarp drive, it's this new technology, it's going to replace our generation that we love. And so
because the cast themselves were also getting old,
right? Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of a meta conversation as well.
And for the record, I do not think it looks ugly. I know my friend Holly Amos, who works on Star Trek Adversaries, she thinks it's ugly, so you can go.
My first reaction to it was definitely sort of a like, huh, like not like it's hideous, but like that's definitely not what I expected, which I guess is what they're going for.
I shouldn't be in this conversation. I think I'll get lynched.
No, go for it.
I think all Federation ships look dorky.
So we're gonna fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sunday, Jeremy Randall, Thomas Maroney
in Las Vegas.
I'm still enough of a Star Trek fan that I love flying them. This is the aesthetic. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and I think just to correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't so much that it was meant to be ugly as much as like dissonant.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ugly is maybe the wrong choice of words. Yeah. Exactly. Dissonant's a great way to put it. And so they did that, and they made it sort of the okay. This thing is going to chase, Kirk and company. They'll steal the Enterprise, and the Excelsior will try to chase them down. And then there's the great gag with the transwarp drive and all that stuff failing. And then, of course, later on in Star Trek 6, it shows up again. And it's modified a little bit. They changed the top of the engineering hull and the top of the saucer. So the default version that in the game here is the Star Trek 6 version.
Yeah.
And that's the one that got reused a lot in the Next Generation, and DS9, etc., etc.
The B, right?
No, this is the Excelsior as seen as NCC 2000. So
if you want to see the B, we can do that.
Yeah, we can just do a change costume.
Sure. What am I changing it to?
Shipfed FC5E Type 1.
It's gonna be a Peregrine.
No.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. So that's the refit. But
it even says Enterprise.
It does.
Yeah. This is the preset costume, right? So.
Okay.
So let's step back a bit and talk a bit about STO.
How far back?
So we did. Today we released an updated version of these models for the game. Tobias Richter, he's a really big figure inside of the Star Trek community. He's done some art for other official Star Trek publications and games, and he of course remodeled DS9 for us, the exterior.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that. How do we go from we're going to buy your DS9 model and make it more friendly for the game to we're going to hire you to start making 3D updates of some of our classic ships, basically from whole cloth, right?
Right. Yeah. This is a complete. These models are complete rebuild from soup to nuts, as they say.
For what?
Soup to nuts. I don't actually know what that means.
Never heard that before. If anybody in chat knows where that comes from,
it might be like a Navy
unless it's
expression.
dirty. Don't tell me if it's dirty.
It probably is dirty.
Just because it has the word nuts in it.
Right. Yeah.
Always.
And so, Tobias was so great with working with us on the DS9, and he's such a huge Star Trek fan that we thought, like, hey, this is a really great relationship, and maybe it can yield even more awesome stuff that we can use. And we have the ship team, as far as our teams go on STO, is I think the second biggest, but we still have other ships that we want to do, and so leveraging Tobias's passion and skill just seemed like a really good fit for us. And so
if he wants to keep doing the work and we can afford to pay him,
right,
freaking do it. Yeah, that's
exactly. And so we reached out to him and said, hey, and he was interested in doing work with us too. So the Excelsior, it was kind of like, okay, well, what's a good test bed project?
Because this is a ship you've wanted to update for a long time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was kind of, I was trying to figure out, okay, we want Tobias to make a ship for us. What's a good sort of low-risk thing that I can show him exactly how we make ships? Because the way we make ships for STO is pretty there's a pretty specific way you have to do certain things without getting too much into the weeds. So,
especially for one that can even more so for a ship that can trade parts.
Right, can trade parts. A lot of it is about the material templates we use. And so the Excelsior was a good thing because, like you said, we've been able to remaster a lot of the ships in the game, a lot of the canon ships, and the Excelsior, we weren't able to do that when we introduced the T6 Resolute class, so that's been high on my priority to get that done. But the other thing is, it's a canon ship with tons of reference. The bar is very clear. Like, it's very clear, okay, this is what we want, this is what we want it to look like. And we had, we had the material that we did for the Constitution class, so it was really easy to work with Tobias and say, okay, that looks good, can you change this? And Tobias being a huge Star Trek fan, he also had a deep knowledge of the ship, so it just made a lot of sense from a lot of different levels to get this done. And so I'm really happy it turned out really well.
Yeah,
and
it looks amazing.
I think it's safe to say you guys will be seeing more work from Tobias in the future. We're really excited about that.
Yeah.
So we did the NCC 2000, kind of the default model that showed up in Star Trek 6, TNG, and DS9. And then this version, which is the refit version they used for the USS Enterprise in Generations and the USS Lakota, also in DS9. There's some weird chronology when you look at this model because they made the model for Star Trek 3. They updated the model for Star Trek 6. Then they just kept using that model through TNG and early DS9. Then they had to do Generations, and so they this is the same we're talking about the studio model, physical model. It's the same model. The refit Enterprise was the same model as the original Excelsior. They just glued stuff on. In fact, the reason they did that was so that they could take it off again if they needed to show an old Excelsior. But unfortunately, the way they did that, the glue, they actually realized, oh crap, if we actually take this stuff off, it's going to damage the model anyway. So that's why when you see the Lakota, it's this version instead of the regular. I mean, they worked it into the story as
chronology-wise. The Federation completely updated the ship for the Enterprise B, then used the original version for decades after, and then suddenly we're like, oh, we should do that refit.
Right. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, yeah. And then actually, so they had this model that was refit, but the next time they needed to use a physical model, because I'm pretty sure it was a physical model of the original Excelsior, I think they had to build a brand new one.
Oh, jeez.
For the Voyager flashback episode where Tuvok is serving on the Excelsior.
Yeah.
I think they actually made a physical model of the Excelsior for that. But looking up reference for the original model versus the Voyager model, and there's slight differences. Anyway,
that was such a cool way to work in a guest star. By the way, instead of being we're figuring out a way to bring Sulu to the future, they were just no, Tuvok's old enough. He served on the ship with him.
Yeah, no, that was super cool. Well, and people remember that Tim Russ actually played a bridge officer on the Enterprise B.
Right, he was a Vulcan.
No, he was not a Vulcan, which would have been really cool. But he was there.
That's because Tim Russ is in everything, though.
Yeah,
especially Spaceballs.
He's in Star Trek Online
so much in Spaceballs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Just a quick update, you guys. Apparently, Soup to Nuts is from a multi-course dinner in the 1930s. You would start with soup and you would end with nuts.
Okay.
And that is from Hippie John 71 and Lord Inquisitor Tazurin.
I choose to believe it.
Yeah,
choose to believe
sounds
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Voyager version of the Excelsior is the DS9 CG model and apparently has the incorrect glowy warp grills.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
How dare they?
How dare they indeed. I saw a really funny exchange on Twitter, by the way.
Like speaking of
glowy warp things.
Incorrect. Glowy warp.
Yeah. So these things, I guess, are supposed to glow different colors. And I saw someone on Twitter be like, why didn't you do that? Here's some pictures of it. And Thomas go, oh my god, I've been looking for that reference material forever.
Right. Well, the thing is, I mean, I think I knew that the glue on the CG model, but generally I don't. If I have to choose between, if there are conflicts on the CG model or the physical model, I go with the physical model because that was the original version. And I couldn't find a good shot of those being lit up on the physical model.
Plus, all of these are destined to be 3D printed, and therefore must be 3D model accurate.
Right.
Why would you?
Anyway,
you could have answered like you did that one time. Embarrassed her on the line.
I could have. I could make her do that.
So the other thing I do want to say really quick is that we have the Star Trek 6 version and the Generations version, And then we also made the version as seen in Star Trek 3, the Search for Spock, with a few subtle differences. So I don't know if I actually saved that as a... If you go on the Taylor...
I'll just go to the Taylor then.
And there are a couple subtle differences, basically, but I know people have asked for it, so we just put it together. You can get that version.
Is that the Excelsior retrofit?
No, just click on Excelsior. I don't think there's a preset for it.
Okay.
And then go to Advanced and...
Excelsior NX?
Yeah, Excelsior NX.
All the way down.
Just the... I think it's only going to be the saucer and the hull.
Okay, great.
And,
I'll just double check.
Yep.
Cool.
And
Apply changes. I almost clicked 3D print this ship.
That might not work because you manually overwrote your costume. So just go back to the Taylor and show him in the Taylor.
Okay.
Don't ask about Alex. He's not for you.
Who's Alex? What are you talking about? Yeah, so here's the differences for the
So that's
NX
the
version.
old one.
Oh, that's the old one?
Yeah.
It didn't save it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can. Oh, the glowy bits.
There we go.
Yeah.
Glowy bits.
So the front of the shuttle bay is a little different, and then there's a giant crystal above the impulse engines, and the bridge is a little different too. So you can get this if you own either the
Is that
tier...
a skylight above engineering?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
What's the... I've completely forgot. That's Astrometrics, or what's the name of the room? The one that they invented for 7 of 9 to have a
Stellar
office?
Cartography?
Stellar
No, it is
Cartography.
Astrometrics. I think it is Astrometrics.
Okay.
You can get this by owning the Fleet Tier 5 or Fleet Tier 6 version of the Excelsior. You can unlock these parts.
Everybody watching already has those, though.
Yeah, I imagine. So you wanna take them through the...
Be like the cool kids.
Yeah.
So we've got the Type 8 material that was added, as well as the Type 8B.
So let's look through all these materials. Here's Fleet.
Some of them are existing.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they going to look much different on the new model?
They will. I mean, the whole model has been completely remapped, so the way the materials lay on the model will be a little different, or a lot different.
That's cool.
This was one of our oldest C-Store ships, if I remember correctly.
It was probably like the second
or third.
Yeah.
Type 4 for when you really, really want to be a badass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see this updated because I think
me too.
Many of our older ships could use a facelift to look like they're a part of our modern game.
T6 Fortune win.
I think that's my favorite skin.
The 7? Yeah, 7 looks nice.
Really cool.
I love that contrast.
Yeah. Although is that a color or is that that's just a part of the... Yeah, that's cool. And then 8 and 8B.
Yep.
And upgrade.
That 8B is nice.
8B is really nice. Ooh, Veteran looks real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and clean. Look at that.
If you're a veteran, we want you to look cool.
So if you go back to actually click on the Excelsior template real quick. And then, so this is the Type 8. So this is the standard motion picture era. And then go to the Type 8B. And then go down to nacelles.
Okay.
And change that to Excelsior Alpha. Okay. So if you want your Excelsior to look like it did in like DS9, the DS9 CG model, essentially, like this is the way to do it. You get the Type 8B material, which is a little more gray, and then you have the nacelle Excelsior Alpha, and that has the incorrect lit nacelles. And we had that before, but just so people know that like we didn't take that away, you can still do that.
There's a lot of options in this ship.
Yeah.
This is probably just a good ship.
I just want to take a moment to be like, I hope people know how lucky they are to have someone as nerdy about Star Trek as you on this. Like, we built these nacelles because they were in a CG model that you may have seen in the background of a shot on Deep Space Nine.
Even though a lot of people consider them to be incorrect.
Yeah. But if they're your version of correct, you can now fly that ship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had it before, so we didn't want to take that away.
Yeah.
And then the Type 6 windows, we added those too. Those are the motion picture era windows.
Gotcha.
So you can change. I mean, the windows on the Excelsior are all pretty tiny, but
unless they're fleet windows, in which case they're huge.
I don't know why. Let's fix
bay
that
windows.
word.
Everybody likes bay windows.
Yeah, of course. That's cool.
So yeah, that's the kind of the rundown on what the new Excelsior. I'm really, really excited. We finally got this out to people. I know you've been waiting for it for a long time. It was exciting to see what you asked for.
I really like this shot.
Yeah, this map is great. The lighting is just, you get some really cool...
The only thing that stinks about it is that these nebulas are terrible for GIFs. They just totally destroy them.
Oh, that sucks, yeah.
I did have a question because I saw it popping up a lot today. Would we ever consider changing the seating on this bad boy, Jeremy? Because there's a lot of requests. Yeah, there's a lot of requests coming in for, apparently, let's see, stations.
Pilot seats. For Flyer Apart.
Well, yeah, you could do that.
I get that request twice a day.
This one is, people were saying, not that one, make the Ensign Engineering and Ensign Universal, the one that I saw a ton today.
Well, here's the thing. There's always room for upgrading. Mm-hmm. There's always room for variants. And if people want it, yeah, we talk about things that people want all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't make any promises, and there's nothing currently on the schedule
ISS
to make
Statty in the Phoenix Box when, Jeremy? ISS Statty in the Phoenix Box
when? The Statty is mine. That's
getting clipped.
So yeah, sure. There's a possibility at some point in the future of seat variants for this and thousands of other ships. Not thousands. We only have like 800 ships.
We only have 800 ships.
Only 800 ships.
There's somebody also.
But just on the same topic, of those 800 ships, like 200 of them are variants.
Right.
So like, it's not like it's something we've never done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Ben, I feel like I should ask this because Ben Poe999 has been asking it this entire time in chat over and over. Actually, I shouldn't reward that behavior, but oh well. Too late now. The Kelvin class, is that the Star Trek Beyond ship?
No, the USS Kelvin.
Okay. Is that something is that tied up in rights issues, or we just haven't done it yet?
It's not rights issues, we just haven't done it yet.
Okay, yeah, so maybe someday, Ben Poe.
There's a good number of people that make the decisions for ships that think that that's an ugly as hell ship.
It's the one with the single nacelle, right?
But everything like that is subjective.
It's never stopped us before.
We made the Oberth.
Oberth! Oh, yeah.
I like the Oberth.
So do I.
The first time I saw, so people, throw T6 Oberth went at me all the time.
Yeah.
And finally one day I Googled that ship and was just like, but why?
Yeah, I love it and hate it.
Oh, it's not as fun as that Defiant variant that just makes Thomas's twitch from the stream ages ago.
No, the Reliant.
The Reliant variant, yeah.
The Miranda variant.
Yeah, the Miranda variant. All right. Cool. Well, Thomas, I know you have to run and do important things in your important life. Or you can stay here and talk about Star Trek forever and blow off all your friends and family.
Yeah.
That project we've been working on is still in dire straits, but it's nothing you can fix.
Yeah, sorry.
No. What he's saying is we need you here, Thomas.
Yeah.
We need you here talking about Star Trek nerd stuff. It's up to you.
Yeah. No, I'll hang out for a
bit.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to get out of this shard, which is a special one, and go back to just people for a second. That's right, I put that blast from the past up because we didn't have one for Thomas.
Is that an old?
Oh yeah, that's the original one that I made that Perfect World was like, we need to fix this. We need to fix this now.
Jeremy Thomas.
Oh, but now it's super blue because I made the other one blue. Hold on.
Ah! I just got buzzed by a shuttle.
It's blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die. All right, there we go. That was great. Cool. All right. Well, you guys be entertaining while I fire up holodeck.
What should we talk about? Should we talk about how we're going to be in Vegas?
SOT Stats wants to know if there's any chance of the ISS Audacity. It's an Akira class from Shield of Tomorrow.
So I think I'm going to answer this by quoting a good friend of mine, Mike Fadum, also known as Ambassador Kel, which is we don't talk about unannounced content. He usually says upcoming content, but I think that is a little too much of a tease. But it's his job. I won't tell him how to do it.
I mean, there we go. Yeah, I can talk to you about that.
So questions like, will we ever do or is there a chance of a...
Yes, there's always a chance.
There's always a chance of it.
Never say never.
Chance.
Oh, wow. That went. Thomas has some sort of weird effect from the...
you guys are both kind of beaming out.
Yeah.
It's our sweet hair. Our sweet hairdos.
You missed it the other day. Oh, jeez. Am I going to have to take this down to, like, 0?
My face!
God, it's even worse. Well,
okay.
All
right, Mike, it's an important message.
Oh my God, that is super cool.
That's why she called it. Probably.
Yeah, probably. My daughter has apparently pulled herself up to her knees. Jeremy.
Yes.
I almost called you Jomus. Could you do me a favor and go behind the green screen and turn on the overhead lights?
Yeah, that's their Cronenberg version.
So this doesn't look quite so terrible.
Jomus.
God,
the Tuvix version
right.
of us.
Yeah.
Then we could just
that didn't do anything.
Make a ship.
Yeah.
That'd be super powerful.
Yeah, we could just make ships
alone. Back down to 10, see if... Okay, that's a little better. Sweet. Jeremy.
Hi.
For the DS9 Holoboss, people are wondering why we can't change the costumes of, say, Nog to put him in other Federation uniforms.
Because the head sculpts are custom.
Okay.
And making part of a costume customizable and the rest not is... other way around with the hand gestures.
I know what you meant.
Is extremely difficult. It can be done, but it takes up a lot of time that we'd rather spend making actual assets we can use for players, such as new baseball uniforms.
Makes
things
sense.
like that.
Makes sense.
We have a limited amount of character art assets.
Or new...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
James Michael Simpkins wants to know what T6 ships do you have in the game, Jeremy?
Do I have
Jeremy?
It's for Jeremy.
Jeremy's
not
here.
here.
The ones I'm currently flying is I'm switching back and forth between the Anorax and the Nakul Destroyer.
Gotcha.
Because I love the Anorax, and I'm still trying to master my Nakul Destroyer.
Gotcha.
But I also just switch around a lot for mastery.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to just take the Anorax texture and make a Babylon 5 with it. Because I made the Anorax and I made the texture, the material for the Anorax, and like looking at it, I am absolutely sure, because I don't know if people know this, but I'm pretty sure that the effects house that did that episode for Voyager actually did work on Babylon 5 before.
Yeah.
So they probably had the texture flying around.
We were doing the model research.
Yeah. And so.
But in somebody was asking about ship variants.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a shame that the Anorax isn't a temporal operative.
That is true.
Primary spec ship,
because it's a friggin' temporal ship.
Yeah, exactly. But it came out before the
that
spec.
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's a shame that it's not, and I would love to do a variant of that at some point. And there's probably a dozen other ships that I could rattle off that I think deserve seating variants like that. We have to find the right time and place to do it.
Defiant pilot ship.
Because every time we do something like that, we have to sacrifice something else.
Right.
There's not a limited
That's
man
the eternal
hours.
balance that we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why having Tobias on board is so nice, because there's some extra man hours we can spend out.
Exactly.
So here's a question that's come up a couple of times today for you, Jeremy. Gamma Recruit, or the Dominion Transponder, has tasks that don't have progress bars. Is there a chance we could add progress bars anytime in the future?
There is a chance.
Okay.
But we're leveraging a UI that was created for different things and was never built with that in mind. So, again, that's a matter of UI time and software time, really, to develop those features. And that time has to be spent wisely. I don't know that we could spare it to put progress bars on something that is technically ephemeral. People will finish that eventually. Mm-hmm. I would love if players could track their own progress. I really honestly would. But if I have to choose between that and fixing, like, the queue system's broken this week or something like that,
you got to fix the queue system.
I'm going to be a proponent of fixing the broken stuff instead.
Yeah, one of the things that people are always talking about how we don't fix stuff. One of the things you guys don't see is how much stuff we fix before you ever see it.
Yeah.
How much time that takes.
And the panicked punch lists that go out at 5 p.m. every day.
Yeah. Let's see.
When is it coming to console? I think they mean the Excelsior.
July 24th.
No, the Excelsior?
No. I thought the rest of Victory's Live.
Well, I think it actually will be when Victory's Live goes to console. I think the Excelsior will be part of that release. Yeah, I think it was a baseline got pulled. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's being put in with the Victory's Live release.
So console, I mean, one of the nice things, I mean, you get your console players, you guys have to wait a bit longer, but usually the stuff you get is a bit more, a bit more polished because we've had time to clean up the stuff. So
and you get sometimes I don't know if this is for sure, but some things that are smaller and easier updates, like say the Sally Ride, might be get to console technically sooner because they'd be part of one of the bigger updates.
Yeah, they just end up in the big baseline.
Yeah. Let's see.
C6 Work B. Write that down.
Sorry, Lord Inquisitor is asking. Carrying on about the transponder. Not carrying on.
Carrying on.
Continuing the conversation.
Jeremy, there's a reason why one of us is the community manager.
He correctly pointed out that some of the old tasks do have progress bars. It's because they're new tasks. Yeah. There's different data tracking different things, and those progress bars were looking for specific stuff.
Gotcha.
Not
so you'd have to build
stuff.
New progress bars, which didn't happen.
Right.
Because we couldn't,
it's not a matter of the progress bars not existing, it's what data they're trying to find. Those pointers don't exist, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. There was a Jeremy question.
There was one about revisiting beam overload.
Yes.
Probably not in the immediate future.
Okay.
Because it's been revised a number of times.
Yeah.
John
Carr, you will be getting Home on console, the featured episode, but like PC, it'll be a little bit after it releases on console, or about a little bit after Victory's Life. So we'll have all of Victory's Life for probably a few weeks, and then Home will come out. Let's see. There was a question for Thomas that I saw. Oh, Sir Boulevard wants to know, have your model poly counts gone up for the full... Wait, okay, the sentence doesn't make sense. Thomas, I'm going to read the sentence as written rather than trying to translate, in hopes that you guys can translate. Thomas, has your model poly counts gone up for the full Bridge Cake Pathfinder to finally get used?
I mean...
First, translate that for me.
Okay.
The bridge cake is the top of the saucer. The area
Okay.
that holds the bridge.
Yeah, and so my original model of Pathfinder, because it was the first full ship I had modeled for STO, it was higher than we were doing at the time, and I had to cut a lot of detail, not a lot, but some amount of detail to fit in the poly limit. I could add that stuff back, but it's one of those things where it's like Jeremy said, right? It's like I can spend my time doing that, or should I spend my time going back to like the Centaur, right? Now that we have better Excelsior pieces, like a thing I could do would be to upgrade the Centaur to use those new pieces, right?
Yeah.
Which is a big improvement for something, as opposed to updating the bridge cake and the Pathfinder is a small improvement to something that already looks pretty good, versus spending that time on creating a much larger impact by completely replacing an older model. So it's
that makes
just
sense.
Prioritizing those kinds of things.
But again, an area which having an outsourcer like Tobias Richter might be able to help us make more choices.
Right. It's true. I mean, we probably want to, it's always this sort of, it's all about resource allocation when you're doing things like this, to make sure that you're doing things that you think will improve the game and make a lot of impact. And so we want to make sure that the stuff we have Tobias working on meets whatever goals we have, and we can use for upcoming content or refresh something that's old in the game. But we just want to make sure that as a resource and that we're using that resource wisely. So that's just a calculus you have just working in games and making these decisions.
So a bunch of people are asking questions like, when we see a new social zone, when we see this kind of ship, will this particular type of weapon be upgradable? A lot of that is going to fall under, like, I could throw those questions at Jeremy and Thomas all day, and I think the best we'll get is, maybe, and I'll write it down and maybe look at it later.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but there's not much that we can't really confirm anything on the stream, especially, like, I think we probably agree that, like, the Ceremonial Lurpa and the Kristak Botleth should be upgradable, but that's...
I know what we can confirm.
What can we confirm, Thomas?
Melee weapons, right?
Yeah.
I can confirm something.
What can you confirm?
Who is your favorite character from Hamilton?
From Hamilton?
Oh, God. That's a difficult question. So it's weird to like the villain the best, but Aaron Burr is such an interesting character in that show, and I want to play him so bad, and I should never play that character.
Right.
I should never be in Hamilton, just to be clear. But just to be clear. But man, I would kill to play either him or George Washington.
I feel like such a terrible theater nerd that I have still not heard the entirety of Hamilton.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'd like to go see it. That's one of the reasons I don't want to spoil myself.
That's kind of how I was with it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to listen to it. This is great Star Trek content. I'm not going to listen to it. And then one song got played for me, and I was like, that was really good. Maybe I'll just listen to one more, and then I binged the whole thing, and then I watched it.
But the nice thing about it though is that it's pretty much like 99.5% of the show is on the album.
Yeah.
So you don't really miss you miss a lot, but you still get the story and everything.
Yeah.
I just want to say that my favorite character is probably Lafayette, because emigrants get the job done.
Yeah. Ray Nelson says dueling pistols confirmed. We should. That's an emo we can get Weston to work on. You pull out a thing, pick it up, turn, and walk 10 paces. Like people have duels. That'd be amazing. It'd be terrible. It'd be amazing.
Holodeck only.
Holodeck only. Yeah. Let's see.
Wait, I saw a question. I'm going to paraphrase because it's scrolled off by now.
Okay.
But this is for Thomas, and I want to ask him this.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want to do the New Orleans class?
I want to do it 11. 11.
This one goes to 11.
Thomas, that's not on the scale.
Okay.
I'm afraid your answer has been disqualified.
This one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11. I just like that ship a lot. It's really cool, and it's...
those are just magic markers or highlighter pens on the top, right?
Jeremy, did you just try to mansplain a ship to me?
To you!
My house! You came to my house! I really like that ship. It's cool.
But you really like to be fair, like I understand you genuinely really like that ship. But for Thomas to say I really like a Federation ship just means that the Federation ship exists somewhere in Star Trek.
No,
are there Federation ships you don't like?
Well, I mean that's true up to a point in Star Trek history, but let's not.
Okay,
let's not deep dive there.
That's a good point.
Are you a fan of of the Shelley?
No, I don't like the Shelley, and I don't like the Jaeger. I would like the Shelley if the nacelles were Excelsior nacelles instead of Constitution nacelles, because like the scaling is super wrong. Okay. Or if the Constitution nacelles were scaled down.
All right.
Yeah, the Jaeger, I hate that with the burning passion of 1,000 suns.
Wait, isn't the Shelley the one that's got like a Excelsior underbite?
Yes.
That like shoots out in front of the saucer?
Yeah, like is a loaded word. I mean, what's interesting about the Shelley is that they sort of pitch it as this like through deck carrier like design where you know
it was named after Mary Shelley because
the Jaeger's really cool looking.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's such a cool looking ship. It is.
It is just a sized up Maquis Raider with an Intrepid.
Yes.
And
there's
that's why it's cool.
The bottom of it has like an F-14 part like glue. Yeah, it's.
What was the other one you didn't like? I want to look it up.
The Shelley.
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 Yeah, Jeremy's right. It's named Shelley after the
Mary Shelley.
Yeah,
the author of Frankenstein.
Okay.
Because the ship was a monster.
But instead, I get a bunch of pictures of this guy.
I don't know
George Shelley? Do you know who that is?
No.
That is not a ship, by the way.
No, that is a person.
Star Trek.
There it is. Okay, that's got
So this is a fan schematic, and it's great that everybody can see what we're looking at.
Yeah.
That's the model.
All right. Cool.
And
so it's got the kind of Oberth like long nose.
They just took the bottom. They took the bottom of the Excelsior and shifted it forward.
Yeah.
And then put nacelles, attached them to the saucer.
I really like the implication that because they wanted to have so many different ship designs, and because we want to have so many different ship designs, that to get a starship built in Starfleet, you just kind of have to be like, well, what if we did this?
Yeah,
and
this piece works.
And Quinn will be like, I like it.
The real reason,
build 600 of them.
The real reason is that the guys who worked on the guys and ladies, who were on the Star Trek art department, who worked on these models, were heroes and had calls for we need like 20 Starfleet ships and they got to be blown up and damaged.
We're gonna shoot this in 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they spent a ton of their own time and money making those models through whatever kind of spare parts they had. And so really it was less about making a cool design and more about making Starfleet feel big and feel like, okay, there's just a ton of, they didn't really want you to zoom in and dissect it. And again, that was also kind of right before the internet really took off, right?
We started doing,
doing all that stuff, right? So, I mean...
I'm really enjoying, by the way, how chat has now blown up with people either yelling at me in for or against about the Jaeger. There's a war coming. They're about to pull knives.
Ian Richards, one of our ship artists, he wants to do the Jaeger. So I said, all right, Ian, if you want to do that on your own time, Godspeed.
It still needs a design to be released.
Right. And so if you never make the design, then it will never be released.
I guess I'll ask Spartan to do it.
Let's circle backwards.
Circling backwards,
to the New Orleans. And little ships like that. I like them because they do, like the Enterprise, the Galaxy class was kind of like, this is a Swiss Army knife ship, right? You do everything.
Yeah.
It's giant. It's powerful. It has all these research labs and stuff. I liked the little designs.
And cetacean ops.
Right, cetacean ops. I like the little designs like the New Orleans that had these like purpose-built pods and stuff. Who knows what they actually do? But like I think
they're meant to make yellow marks on paper.
Yes, they just detach giant pieces. Like if they need to highlight a section of our space dock,
galactic paper.
I know what the New Orleans looks like, but I'm going to look it up now because I don't remember the highlighters. And...
They have the caps on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it made Starfleet feel like, okay, they're the big hero ships like the Galaxy class, but they're also these ships that were designed for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I like doing ships like that.
Oh yeah, those are highlighters.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
But again, that's super inventive. In the days before the internet, no one cared. It was a new ship.
Oh, they're actually highlighters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Because it was a physical modle. Right?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you guys were being funny. I didn't know they actually. That's cool.
No, they were actually pins just painted and glued to the
right. Because they had little AMT. I think AMT Erdl kits of the Enterprise, and how they made it look different was they added the highlighters and they painted the windows at a much larger scale so that the ship looks smaller. And I don't know. I think it's cool.
Duncan Idaho has not only the best idea, but also a fundamental misunderstanding of how ship design works, because he says the Jaeger should be the first ship I work on. Just set Mike down with the software, load the Intrepid into the Raider, and whatever he makes in an hour, put it in the game.
Okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed Star Trek On.
Well, it's okay. We'll put it in the C-store for all of the...
I want some fan art. Somebody needs to make some fan art of Ambassador Kell Photoshop sticking his head out of a shuttle that's jumping over a Jaeger with a shark fin on it.
We will call it the jumping the shark class.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see.
Might use the Latin term.
Yeah. Thomas Pierce, the Voyager interior is available to purchase. It's just only available as part of a Voyager pack right now. Let's see.
And unfortunately, if you own another piece of that pack, I don't think you can buy the bundle
right now. Yes,
which is something we've talked a long time about trying to fix. It's on our big list.
Yeah, large list. Let's see. I actually was gonna say I do really agree with you about the like kind of smaller ships in the Star Trek universe, because I love the idea of those like. I guess nothing in the Star Trek universe is like Millennium Falcon size, so it's still like thousands of people. I mean, but I like the idea of like
technically you say runabouts are actually Millennium Falcon
that's
size.
True.
True.
But I just love the idea of like the small, like kind of more ragtag crews. Right. We've never really done that in Star Trek.
That's really what the premise of Voyager was.
Yeah.
Right. Was that like the Voyager was an advanced starship, but it was still small. It wasn't meant to go on these super long journeys.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
Is there a plan to fix the 5-year-old bug? Oh, well. Starting that conversation off well.
Yep.
KDF ROMs can't claim...
Vorel or Goshi when they unlock the
I'm going to forget about that by the time I get to my
Where's your notebook?
Is there some sort of like...
Where's your
can
notebook?
People send you notes?
Where's your notebook?
File...
Where's...
I didn't bring my notebook today, okay? Vorel or Goshi. That might be enough to
email it to you right now.
But to answer your question, is there a plan?
There might be now. Let's see.
I don't know. The fact that it's a 5-year-old bug might mean that there is a fundamental flaw in the system that might take some serious elbow grease to get back into shape. I don't know. I don't recall looking into this particular matter.
I'm going to title this email, Where's Your Notebook?
And then just keep it open for the rest of the stream. You may need to add more to it.
That's true. I might. Can I not copy from here? Can I not copy from Chris Chat? Okay, there it is.
There we go.
Great. Awesome. Technology. Can we get boss to use emotes? Sometimes you can. You can get them to dance, I think, right? In certain situations. No, that's just photonic copies or whatever.
Emotes are a part of the player animation system, and I don't think that we have a way to do that without applying a power to them, which is not part of the emote system. The two can work together, but typically are separate.
Yeah.
So can we? Yeah.
Maybe.
That's messy.
Could be.
That might be an.
I mean, we can make them dance.
Yeah.
Put down, but that's what I mean by the power system. Putting like the subspace party amplifiers cause your bridge officers to dance if they're around.
Right.
But that's because a power is being placed on
kind of a volume power.
It's not an emote. It's something else.
Jeremy, do you want to talk a little bit about? This is a longer question and one that we're still looking into. But since a lot of people have been saying since the level cap increase, a lot of content has gotten more difficult. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what we're looking into?
Well, I can say that we've done some. Excuse me. That we've already done some preliminary
It's making him
reviews.
physically ill to speak of this.
I think I might be getting a cold, so you guys are
this is great. I'm glad that I'm trapped here in this corner.
And the whole internet. So we've already been doing some reviews of this, and one of our systems designers, Matt, I think some of you might know him as Cultured Soup around the internets. He's been doing a lot of deep dive to figure some of this stuff out and figure out what players are actually reporting, because honestly a lot of the reports aren't great as far as being actionable by designers. Like
things are hard and I died a lot.
Yeah, we're hearing the feedback, but being able to figure out like why are things harder?
Yeah.
What did we do or not do that's causing the situation, and then digging down into it and everything. So we have made some progress though, and I'm pretty certain that very soon we're going to be taking the first step in trying to improve matters. I won't call it a solution, but it's something we're
especially because it might be one of those things where we flick the switch and turn it on and everything goes to hell.
Yeah, or nothing happens.
Yeah.
And either of those are possibilities, but we're still looking into it. What I can say is that what we think one of the primary problems is, based on player feedback, is critical hits coming from NPCs.
Yeah.
So, for example, we did already discover that NPCs, critters, spaceships that you fight in space have a base critical severity of 100. Players start at 50. Now, a lot of players can itemize far higher than 50 if they feel like it.
Yeah.
But the fact that NPCs get a base value that starts twice as high,
that's rough.
that can be rough,
Yeah.
especially when they, by default, use different damage tables and hit harder than players without gear.
Yeah.
So we're going to be tuning that value. And right now, our first pass, I think we're going to knock that down to 50, just for in normal content. Right now, we're not going to touch advanced or elite to make sure that, well, first of all, to set up the conversation, to make sure that people understand that we're still looking into this. We're not doing a fix and then just going to walk away from it.
Right.
So we're hoping that only doing a little bit of whatever change we might do up front helps frame that conversation, whatever that is. So we're going to knock critical hit severity for NPCs down to 50% in normal only, and see what happens from there. If it improves things in the right way that we like, we'll figure out if we went far enough. Maybe we didn't go far enough, and then maybe we'll propagate those changes into higher difficulty levels as well. It's all going to be a matter of watching what happens and then reacting to the feedback from it. But
cool.
We can guarantee that we are looking at the feedback. We understand something has happened. I can tell you we did a little bit of data polls, and we do see that there is, I think it was a 40% increase in deaths in queues since X4. We don't know exactly what that means, but it does mean people are dying more.
Yeah.
Why? We haven't been able to dig into entirely, but at least that indicates that there might be something amiss.
Yeah.
We had to keep looking into it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So somebody transcribe that and put it on Reddit and the forums. So,
and it's the first step of what we hope is many. Like we want to make sure that this game is an enjoyable experience. Still challenging, but challenging in the right ways. In ways that feel fair, in ways that feel fun.
Yeah. Okay. Orangitis, I'm not sure what that's about, but I will let you know. Hi, Nick. Nick's in Facebook chat now. Everybody say hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick.
If anybody doesn't know Nick, he's one of our environment artists.
Everyone knows Nick. Like, literally, we posted something. Somebody posted something thanking all of the devs, and half the responses were "Hail Taco Fangs," and I was like, "Thanks."
You're the most public-facing dev of the devs.
Right? Okay.
It's your job to
Nick's been
be
here for
that.
like 6 years, and he's only been here for
Nick's been here
3
for
weeks.
I think Nick's been here
3 weeks plus a few.
11 or 12 or
Yeah.
double digits for sure.
Thomas, question from MHall85, more of a bug report actually, but the new Jem'Hadar Vanguard ship material, on old Jem'Hadar ships, it inverts the engine and underbelly colors. Can you take a look?
I mean, it's just that's how that material looks.
Cool.
So I don't need to take a look because that's just
how it is.
How it is.
Well, you could say
it's just
you'll
the way
take a look
it
and then
is.
say, "Yep."
Well, I mean, one of the nice things is if you, we might be offering other material variants based on the Vanguard material that will change the engine color someday. So you can hang on for that. You could also, if it really bugs you that your trails are a different color, on those older ships, you could just get some rep engines. That we have plenty of rep engines that change pretty much every color. So put that in your visual slot. You don't have to use it for the stats, but you can put it in the visual slot. And
stick that in your visual slot.
and now your glow will match the material color on
professionals.
Also, I don't know if it is affecting you or not, but the Vanguard, if you're playing as a Jem'Hadar Vanguard, you start with gear that has vanity stuff on it.
I thought we fixed that.
It's off by default, but
Right.
I'm just saying you might not have to actually go out and get stuff. You may already have it.
Right.
You just need to enable the visuals, and that might improve some of the vanity for you.
Yeah. Thomas Pierce, will we get more bridge interiors? Yes. Aaron Carpenter, can we start a way to design some of our own stuff? It's called the Foundry. I'm just answering some rapid fire questions that I can answer real quick. Let's see. Seahus1. So actually, this is not a question for anybody here, unfortunately. He wanted to know if we could get some other ships in the ESD windows, some of the newer ships we put out there. That's an environment artist task.
Nick can answer that, which is just
say we're gonna do that.
Well, we want to do it. I mean, it's just it's always time. That usually takes a day or two of somebody's work, and we're really busy working on upcoming content that we can't talk about. So,
I just like the idea of signing up Nick for work when he's here and watching us.
Right, that's true. That's always fun.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm. So, Taco Fangs told me on my way up that he was going to be doing that very soon. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You didn't even walk by his desk to get here. I know the path you would take.
No. I know there's going to be like a flaming bag of dog dew in my queue when I get back.
Let's see. Aurelian Tessier, I hope I didn't butcher your name there. Foundry on console is probably not a thing we can do, unfortunately. Lots of technical limitations there. We wish we could. Let's see. RTK142 says the Breen engines are fun for the visual slot. You are absolutely correct, sir. Mm-hmm. They are. Oh, that's right. I was
easy to obtain. They're from a mission reward, not just a
holodeck.
You don't have to go work your way through a reputation to get them.
Yeah. Let's see. The Spore Drive animation is great. That is accurate.
Mm-hmm. I like those comments that are just like, this thing is great.
Yeah.
We agree.
There was one that was earlier that was like, the Victorious Life is the best ever and it's amazing and I'm playing it right now, which I didn't pass on because a bunch of other questions came in.
But they're right.
Yeah. Okay, so Orangitis is giving me more details on this registry number thing that he's messaging us about. So he tweeted a few years ago to, might have been one of the two of you, but he doesn't remember which, about Starship registry numbers. Whoever he tweeted about it to, oh god, why did one of you do this, said that if he came up with a way to redo the registry number scale, then they might make time to do it. But stuff like that, which has lots of elements involving things in canon that an outsider like me isn't privy to, is a bit difficult to get into a presentable state.
What?
Apparently he tweeted at you about registry numbers, one of you, and you said if you come up with a usable system, we might use it.
What does he want?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's just expanding the ranges. That is
we already
technically possible.
We did that, though. The range is as big as it's ever going to get, because it starts at 1 and it ends at 999,999. So
with a few unavailable
there are a few unavailable numbers, because we don't want people to... You can't be the Enterprise, you can't be a Voyager, you can't be a Defiant. Right. So I'm not sure exactly what they're asking for at this point, because we did. You don't have to stay at. You don't have to start with 90 or whatever anymore.
Oh, that's right. We expanded that for Agents of Yesterday, didn't we? So
I did that. So that because if you, it just didn't feel right to me that we would have people like, oh, you can fly a TOS ship, except it's got to start with
5 digits.
Right. Yeah. So if there are more details on that, I can look into it.
Orangitis says some of the new ships registry numbers, I assume he means in like NPC ships we've created, are inconsistent. I don't know what he means by inconsistent, but
a lot of the NPC ships that we create are specific one-off costumes, and it's possible the costumes weren't saved with the correct registry number, just the name.
Or they don't, or it's just that I think he's more referring to the fact that the numbers aren't sequential in terms of time. Like some of them might be bigger and lower numbers.
Okay.
Which
that's a thing. I actually would love to go and make a poster that has like all of the Federation ships that we made for STO in like a timeline as like a Jace thing. Like this, this variant of the Intrepid came out in 2392 or something, and then make like canon registry numbers for that. That would be a hobby project of mine. It wouldn't necessarily be game canon. None of the stuff I do for those Jace's articles or Jace's Twitter is game canon, unless we explicitly say that it is. Registry numbers, like the default registry numbers that we use in screenshots and stuff, those aren't hard canon necessarily either. So
he's said that the command ships, the Geneva and the Presidio, are in the 47,000s.
Right, and that's sort of the whatever random registry number the artists who worked on the ship chose. We don't have a big chart or anything here, unfortunately.
And this is kind of gilding the lily a bit here, but didn't we put out like in part of our Path to 2409 like, and as part of Starfleet's new thing, captains can use whatever uniforms they want, and they can name their ships whatever they want.
We did. I'm sure we did do that until Thomas came in and was like, "No, everyone wears the Odyssey uniform."
Well,
Stop it.
But I mean, like, we tried to justify a game decision with some in-game canon. I think that's as close as we could ever really get.
If I will say this, if I ever got a chance to do a kind of timeline of Starfleet ship designs and made some sort of like conspiracy theory whiteboard string diagram of registry numbers because it's really weird and doesn't make a lot of sense. But then maybe when I do that, I would go back and change the default numbers for those costumes, but you don't really, you see them in the ship store and then you assign your own registry number. So,
Yep.
You know, it's not like super high on the priority, but I think a timeline of all the cryptic special Starfleet ships and when they came out would be neat. I can tell you now it wouldn't necessarily be STO canon simply because I don't want to have 30 ships show up in the first month of 2410, right? So all the T6 ships in this project would probably be spread out over, like the Odyssey class, I would probably peg that somewhere in like 2405 or something, and then you know, spread things out a lot more than we have it in the game. Yeah. So that's a lot more than I think anyone else would give you on that question.
Props for paying attention to that kind of thing.
Yeah, seriously. Smallville 321, we're not going to add interior damage states, which I believe he means, like, if your ship is damaged, will your bridge ever be damaged? That's not a thing. I mean, I won't say never, but that's not a thing that we're going to work on anytime
soon.
Only
if we're allowed to also add crew permadeath, so you can lose bridge officers and your captain.
And duty officers.
Yeah.
We are, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For those people who are bringing up the question about the Rise of Day-Night cycle, we've talked about this for a year now, but the basic thing is, because of the way the new lighting system works, there's not a way to make the day-night cycle function the way it used to without a lot of like reprogramming of the
lighting
game.
and shadows are not dynamic.
Yeah,
they're baked into the map when it's created.
Yeah, so it's just not a thing that we can really do. So it's not something to fix. It's just a sacrifice we made to get better lighting and better look for the whole game.
The last time I asked somebody about this, the terrible, awful, no good, and never going to do it solution was to what did they say? Something like probe the map at every 10 degrees.
Yeah.
And then make it dynamically update those settings on the fly. But that means essentially creating like 18 versions of the map.
Yeah.
That then have to phase on top of one another.
Yeah. So basically, your performance would go
terrible at all.
Let's all do an example of what that frame rate might be like.
I'm pretty proud of us.
That was pretty good. We all did that.
We all just leaned into that one.
Yeah. There's a question I saw come up a couple of times. It's a Jeremy question, and it's from Cthulhu. Would you consider amending the Mako or Klingon Honor Guard two-piece to buff projectiles and not just torpedoes?
Yes, that is a subject that's been discussed recently. Not in that specific example case, but so that's good to know for context. But that kind of thing has been talked about on the systems team recently. No promises, just to let you know that a conversation similar to that one recently occurred.
So there you go. You heard it here now. Jeremy is going to do all your dreams and fix everything for you.
Because there's a lot of older stuff that assume that projectiles would always be kinetic, for example.
Right.
And they haven't been. They've started to become other things along the way.
Are those brain engines?
Those are the brain engines, yeah. Folks, I'm heading to Ryza, so if you want to come and actually hang out with us in person while we chat, come to Ryza.
Good luck getting in the instance before it caps.
Can you go back to the game?
Yeah, that's been happening with the Riemann shields on Ryza.
Yeah, I know. Reflectivity thing?
It's a reflectivity thing. It goes away if I take the Riemann shield off.
That's weird.
Yeah.
They'd fix that in our space dock like a month ago or something.
Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, but yeah.
Nick, fix it.
Scott.
Also, welcome to Season 9, everybody. We made it. We made it to Season 9, a new Accord. That was a good season, though, wasn't it?
It was pretty good. Tim Russ again. Like
we ended the Klingon War finally. Like that was an important release.
Kyrian, thank you for the extra info on Viral and Goshi that you've posted 3 or 4 times. We got it though. Thanks.
I don't know.
I thought I heard somebody discussing it in the hallway, and now I'd see the context for it. I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah, I sent out an email.
I space out.
I sent out actually one of my sassier emails this morning. I was just like, I think that's a little out of date, guys.
Yeah.
Ryza needs combat. I actually don't think it does. Ryza is one of the few places that doesn't.
No, I just said earlier, I love that Ryza exists for what it is and isn't.
You know what? I mean,
it's got to stay what it is and isn't.
It would be cool if you could
holster
your baseball bat like on.
That's true.
But
why would I? You would prefer I don't have a sword? Okay, there you go.
Much better.
You can just hide all.
Is that the Zenkethi cannon?
Yeah, because it's
kind of badass.
You know why the Zenkethi cannon's awesome? Because it's a Herc murderer. You turn on button 2 with this thing and just So much good Herc death.
It starts as a slow giggle,
yeah,
and then it slowly builds into a maniacal cackle.
Yeah.
The longer it goes.
Hello, people who are already gathering. Oh, thank you for the triple buffs. I appreciate it.
I saw somebody on Reddit say this, and I have to agree. We kind of dropped the ball by not making a baseball triple, so maybe we'll do that next year.
See, that was one that I didn't pass on specifically because that thread, how that thread was worded. Like, if somebody was like, "Hey, a baseball triple would have been fun," I would have been like, "Great." Yeah, but the thread was called "Why no baseball triple? Way to drop the ball, devs." And I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I was not the most politely worded thread, but I was like, I felt bad for not thinking of it, because the baseball teams. So the genesis, if people don't mind me taking credit for something, the genesis for the baseball uniforms idea came from the pennants that we did.
Just go to the back of my head. No.
That I did for DS9. So all the baseball pennants that show up in DS9, I was like, I don't know where I got the idea to do that, but I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do like modern baseball teams for the new DS9 environment. And then I started thinking about the summer event, like, oh man, it'd be awesome to do actual baseball uniforms for some of those teams. And so I conned everybody to agree to doing that.
Yeah. And by con, he means like he got the character team to do 2 of them, and then he did like 6 more himself.
Yeah, well.
On his spare time. All right, let's see if I can hit this dancer with a baseball. Nope, too high. Must back up. Yeah, so
the character guys did an amazing job on setting up the Niners and the Logicians, and then I did the away uniform for the Niners, the home uniform for the Logicians, and then the Cation and the Liquidators uniform. Did those variants based on the foundation they set up. And so
I don't know if many players know this, but even as far back as our Path to 2409, baseball's been a thing.
Right.
Like in our Path to 2409, I think we talked about Federation ambassadors introducing it to the Gorn.
Yeah. There's a baseball game between the Gorn and the Federation.
Yeah.
And so maybe next year I'll make a Gorn team. I think they're going to be like the Gorn R Boulders or something like that.
I think I was wrong about the baseball. I thought I saw somebody else's fly off the bat. So it might only become physics after it bounces.
Maybe. Okay. I'm having trouble aiming at this guy.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it bounce.
So maybe someone forgot to
there it is!
Nice.
2 people!
It like bounced between people.
Yeah.
I didn't know that could happen.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Like, I literally bounced it off Maria's head. Yeah.
Well, I knew that you could see your own. I thought you couldn't see others, but I'm seeing others.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's doing their thing.
I didn't know that worked.
Yeah. Now let's add some balloons.
And then hit a balloon.
Whoa, wait, I didn't activate that emote. Wait, I just did the baseball swing without activating it, guys.
That's okay.
That's been happening to me a lot on Ryza. I keep doing emotes I wasn't planning. Dang, the okay, the right in his head. Yes. Oh wow, look at that! Look at that!
All you people standing on the docks there.
I need to get some of these dances. I'm behind on my dances.
I always make sure to log in to get a new Weston emote. Mm-hmm. It's a very important
Weston,
thing.
MVP of Victory is Life.
Although this is still always going to be my favorite emote because I love all of you guys so much.
Oh.
That evolved from this live stream.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Yep.
Let's see. What about the Cestus 3 teams? Carrion42 says, because Cassie Yates' brother plays for the Pike City Pioneers, after all.
Yeah, I mean, I did make a banner for them. The lore that I sort of developed in my head as I was doing all this, because that's a thing that I do, is that this league is not the same as the Cestus 3 league. Because there was a Cestus Planetary League that had like 6 different teams in it. Yeah. I didn't want all of the teams to be from Cestus 3, right?
Sure. It makes sense to have like a galactic league.
Right, exactly.
I want to try
something. Might even be like planetary all-stars or something.
We changed this to basically give you Featherfall if you drop off of this, so I want to see what that looks like.
Did we?
Yeah, that was in the patch notes.
It was in the patch notes.
I know, so that was supposed to always happen, but it's been broken since introduction.
It doesn't look like I'm falling any slower!
But you don't die.
Well, you can't die from falling in this game, which is great. That's a cryptic game trademark that I really enjoy, especially because back in the City of Heroes days, it allowed me to teleport my wife off buildings. Guy? Oh, that's my dinosaur.
It's a raptor hatchling.
Isn't he adorable?
Available in the Lobi store near you.
Which is good because I don't have any Lobi to spend.
Man, I love that.
Such a cheater.
Little,
That is.
I love the sandcastles.
The sandcastles are great. Yeah.
Yeah, they look similar to, but legally distinct from other science fiction castles in the sand.
We do want to add. I can answer this for Jeremy. We do want to add a special bag for pets someday. Someday. Someday.
What do you think we're gonna do for the anniversary party popper this year? You guys got any ideas?
I've got some ideas.
Shower of baseballs.
Shower of baseballs.
Well,
it's
no,
actually
I said
a
that, 'cause
spore
that could
drive
happen.
party popper. You press it and you spore drive.
Like your whole character, like
Yeah,
starts
just
looking-
twists.
Your top starts rotating one way and your head
Yeah.
rotates a different way. And,
I like that idea
and
a
then you
lot.
flip over and...
I don't accept friend requests on stream, guys, just because I don't want to get flooded with them. But if you send it to me when I'm not on the air, you totally will hang out.
It's not unusual to be loved by
I don't
anyone.
even know what this dance
Interesting.
is. That
That's the Carlton dance, I think.
no, the one down there.
Which one?
The
fan dance?
ladies
This
in-
guy?
on
The
black
Jemadar?
belly shirt's doing right now.
This one?
Yeah.
I
Nepenthe?
That's
even recognize that
I
dance.
think it's one of the new ones that Weston just did.
Is it the
I think that's the
electric
Cupid. It's called, and it's a brand new. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, okay.
It's some sort of line dance that I am too
Sort
now
of looks
old or
like
young
the
to
electric
know.
slide-ish.
It could be the hustle too.
Anyway.
There's another new one he
Quality
did too.
Star Trek content.
There's another new one he added. What's it called again?
Samba
Swish.
Advanced?
Swish is the other new one,
What?
which is
What
this is a meme that the kids are doing. So Weston's young enough to know it. And we're all way too old.
Yeah, that's what you guys get since Weston's young.
Yeah.
I want to go back to my desk and log into Ryza. This is a
fork
place
knife
hopping.
thing, right? This is what happens when I show up on stream. People gather to me.
Yes, come to me, my people.
All right, hold on.
So many people in the cool Ryza casual wear.
Everyone
Really love
who
that
has
Jim
it.
Hadar in
Use
the Kirk
the,
bikini there. He's really getting into it.
Yeah.
Victory of Sompek.
Man, I tell you though, I am glad that we found time to do the bare chest and legs for Jemadar.
Oh yeah.
With them coming out right before Ryza, there was a
Right.
time where we were worried we wouldn't be able to do that,
Right,
and so
yeah.
they wouldn't be able to wear
Yeah.
summer costumes.
I mean, again, props to Ian Castaneda, our
Yeah.
lead character artist. He just he's been on the game for a long time. He knows things in and out, and he's a true Scotty, because he's always like, yeah, I'm not sure if we can do that. I don't think we can do that. We can't do that. And then like he always like comes through at the last minute, and you know that's just great.
That made me happy.
He's also been occasionally like, hey, this one thing you asked for, I gave you 4.
Yeah.
So figure out a way to use it.
We
Right.
should do a party nullifier that just lasts for like 5 seconds and makes everyone do the Victory of Sompek thing if they're just
Just
everyone
the
gets struck by
lightning.
lightning.
Just the light.
I mean, one cool feature that I've always kind of wanted, and some other MMOs do this, is the ability to synchronize emotes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we can look into.
Yeah. Joe Black04 says that I'm daddy. That's weird. But also, are we running any dev versus player stuff for console captains? We are doing a console stream next week for the launch of Victorious Life, which will actually be on Thursday instead of Wednesday, for reasons that I cannot tell you until Thursday. So
But
be
as
ready
far
for
as
that.
like the kind of things that we do on Tribble, like where
Yeah.
we'll spawn in enemies or flag ourselves as enemies or things like that, we can't do that on console.
No.
We
not
don't
as
have
much.
dev powers.
Yeah.
Or at least we don't have as much access to dev powers. It's a very
Yeah.
tightly controlled environment.
Nathan T. Tyson would love to see the Orion Black Market. So would we. That was actually a really cool area.
I mean, the
from
one
Discovery.
from Discovery?
Yeah.
There was some inspirational art assets in that, for better or worse.
Yeah. That's 100% true. Can we get Picard playing the flute as an emote? See, this is why we need to get Weston a Twitter account. Because anybody who I will say, up to a certain point, any emote request you send Weston, he'll probably do.
Unfortunately, that one requires sound, so then he'd have
Yeah.
to coordinate with our audio department.
Yep.
And so,
But
It would be really great
it's
if we could
harder.
use that one YouTube video of the guy playing the Jurassic Park theme on the melodica.
Oh, yeah.
They do move in herds.
Interesting. Are there any plans to do anything with the veteran VOFs that are found in the BOF vendor, the ones that no one can get anymore?
the ones that nobody can get anymore?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any that nobody can get
Okay,
anymore.
so if there's one specifically, MHall85, let us know, and we'll add it to Jeremy's
Ones
list.
that nobody can get anymore. Could you put that in the email?
No.
Because I know what they're talking about in terms of veteran buffs, but not ones that nobody can get.
What? Oh no. What happened to that guy? The Geminiar's legs.
We don't need legs.
Where?
Because they shouldn't be able to wear scants. Those are Federation only.
Oh, okay.
So he's wearing an illegal costume.
Illegal!
Oh, he probably grabbed it from back when, and then it hasn't gone to the tailor.
Yep. Please go fix your skin.
Well, he looks like Raymond now.
It's definitely
Raymond Hadar.
Rayman.
Or just Ray apostrophe man.
Thank you for bringing the top one little ship to the party.
Oh, yes.
Props to
Can you still stand on it? No.
Ian Richards, SDO Jam Jams, who snuck in an update of the Runabout costume for us, as Victory is Life was going out. And I think that went live with Home. So that's something I think console players will get right when Victory is Life launches.
I think right away.
Yeah.
So it was nice to... And then if you didn't know, he also added a version without the little roll bar. Yeah.
Huh.
So you don't have to use that roll bar if you don't want to, because
if you own the shuttle,
right?
Like the version you own,
right?
These are pets; you can't change the way they look.
Yeah.
Did the version the episode have the roll bar? Because we'd probably change it to be the version without.
I don't know.
Although the version of the episode was a lot smaller.
So that's an interesting thing that I just pointed out to you guys, because somebody in chat said
they tried to make it closer to show size, and it was didn't work for gameplay.
Yeah, it was like
somebody in chat said they had a Radeon card and they couldn't see the ship up in the sky. Watch the ship up in the sky. You can't see it now. It was they earned an advantage. I'll have to talk to Environment about that.
Oh, you're not talking about the Runabout. You're talking about the
Vorgon ship.
I see it disappear.
Yeah. I'll have to talk to them about that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
That's just a draw distance level of detail sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think
Sentinel 1964. When will the Geordie Boff be given out for free? I have been giving it out for free for a year, bro. I've given out so many of those for free.
Bro.
So many. One it will be given out for free to everyone. We're actually talking about changing the way convention exclusives work to make them like more of a timed exclusive, and then something that we can give to players on a wider scale. But I don't know if anything is going to come of that. It's just one of those things that we've been banding about. When are we going to be able to land on a planet in our starship? Really, you shouldn't do that. Voyager did it once, and it was a really bad idea. The Enterprise E did it once, but by mistake and also, real hard.
that question indicates to me that people don't know that the scales are really different.
Yeah.
Anytime you see a ship on the ground, with the exception of this Runabout, we're just using the space scale version of this, but we have to make a new scaled version of that ship to act as a prop.
Yeah.
Like the bird of prey that you see on the ground in some Klingon episodes.
Yeah.
Is not the same one you fly in space. It's a completely different scale. It's enormous.
So if you wanna do the math, on the ground, our units, we have the game engine uses generic units.
Yeah, distance units.
Right, and so on the ground, we interpret those units as feet when we're scaling things. In space, we interpret them as meters at 1/20th scale, which means that one unit in space equals 20 meters, essentially. Right, so you can do that conversion. I talked about this in a Reddit post recently. Ships are costumes, and the costume ship is scaled down to,
1/20th at meters.
1/20th meters, which means 1/20, like 1 divided by 20 divided by 3 point whatever, 3.8 or whatever the conversion is from meters to feet.
4? Do I remember my high school math correctly?
I don't know. But
the internet can check me.
Yeah. Anyway, ships are. I think it was that the Galaxy class, after going through that conversion, was like 30 feet long on a ground map. So it's 5 people end to end. A lot smaller than the actual Galaxy class, which is 600 meters. Which
part of that is just
1,800 feet.
Engine limitations. We can't make ship-sized ships.
Right.
It would be impossible to render, impossible to use in a game engine.
And so, what we could do if we wanted is something like the shuttle event or the Dyson Battle Zone, where we make a map that looks like you're flying over a planet, but it's a space map. Right. And everything is scaled to ship scale, not person scale.
Like the Romulan mission, where you fly fly your runabouts.
And you could do an effect with that where your ship like comes in for a landing and then it loads a ground map that looks like the same map but is actually a different map.
Don't think you would never be able to like stand on your ship.
Yeah, you're not gonna ever be able to No Man's Sky it of like pulling in or I guess Elite Dangerous can do that now too. Let's see. There was a question that I thought. Oh yeah, Tally Takeman has a really good idea, which is Jordy Boss with the Reading Rainbow outfit. I want to take that one step further. I want them to actually read to you. We summon the Boff, and it just plays an episode of LeVar Burton's podcast.
The Star Trek Reading Rainbow episode.
Yeah.
Where he goes behind the scenes on Star Trek: The Next
Generation.
Yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm. We can get the rights for all that.
All that, 100%.
No problem at all.
Philly Bobcat, no missions where you walk on the hull ever. None of your own personal ship. We might do one day of like you walking on a hull of a ship.
We already have one where you walk on the hull of DS9.
Right. And if we ever wanted to do like
shout out to the Foundry community. They have. I mean, we have like some ship models that are scaled correctly, like the Odyssey and the Galaxy and stuff like that we use in our space dock. And those Foundry authors have created missions that use those as actual things you can walk around, especially now that I think we have EV suit volumes that Foundry authors can use. So go hit up Reddit, go hit up the forums and find some missions that use those.
Talk to the Foundry community.
Yeah.
The Foundry Roundtable, I think, airs right after this show, so you might want to go check them out and ask them questions about it. They can probably point you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. If you are chomping at the bit for more STO content, and you're not playing the Foundry, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
And I'll totally admit that there's some hit and miss there. Not everybody can create great missions, but a lot of people create really good missions.
Yeah,
it can be tough to find them, but using resources like
That's what Foundry Spotlight is for as well. We spotlight a mission most months. I can't say every month because I missed the month Victory Life launched.
How dare you?
There was a lot going on, you guys. That was a lot of work getting that publicized. Krishan Smith, we are aware of the fact that some effects now have weird black boxes around them. Anytime you see one of those, other than Timeline Stabilizer, because we know about that one, send it to me. Anytime you see something, send me with the power that caused it, because unfortunately it's one of those things that we have to fix one at a time on each power.
Right.
And so the more examples of it we have, the more of it we can fix.
Mm-hmm.
And so just so people have context for how that happened, it's, we're Cryptic is always developing its engine and it's always making changes to modernize things, and so that just part of it happens when you're a live game that's using technology that is continuously improved. Like things change and you have to update things to keep up.
And in this particular case, and this has happened a few times with us on STO in particular, it was working a certain way because it was broken.
Right.
Like assumptions within the engine were made in such a way that what we got out of what we tried to build was what we wanted on accident.
Right.
And so when somebody went in and added a feature to know that was wrong, everything is wrong.
Yeah.
And so we have to go and build it the right way.
Right. Yeah. There was a question I wanted to answer. Shoot. Oh, Benpo999. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. He's asking the Eternal, are we ever going to be able to buy lockbox ships with Zen question. You can do that right now. If you go, the trick that players tell me all the time is you buy keys with Zen. You sell the keys on the exchange for energy credits, and then you use the energy credits to buy the ships on the exchange.
You can take that one step further. Use your dilithium to buy Zen from other players. Use that for keys.
Yep.
Wait, but if you have the Zen... No, if you have the dilithium... No, that's right.
Yeah, use the dilithium to buy the Zen. Use the Zen to buy the keys. Sell the keys on the exchange.
But
use
the
energy credits
Zen,
to do.
Because
he's asking for it. Yeah.
Oh,
so
right.
that's the. I mean, we actually had a really interesting talk. I don't know if you guys went with our CEO last week about how to monetize, how the games monetize, how our games work. We can't go into too much of it because a lot of it was proprietary inside baseball stuff. But one of the things that we do, one of the things that we do that is really cool that a lot of games don't do is that like everything that you can get by spending money for, you can get
right in the EV suit.
You can get by earning money in game. It just takes a little longer.
It's a balance between time and money. If you've got time, you can use dilithium. If you've got money, you can use Zen. And if you're on one end of the spectrum and need to get on the other, you can trade it with other players.
Yeah. So Joe Black 04. The Ryza abilities, if you want to get your bridge officers to use them, you have to buy the books from that vendor over there. Training manuals, thank you. I'll go fly over and show you.
Bye, everybody.
See you in a bit. I'll be right back. They'll probably just follow me. They usually do.
Suddenly ditch the party.
That's a pretty sweet floater.
Isn't it? Isn't it just? Okay, so this guy right here will sell you Is it in here?
Which one are you looking for?
The training manuals. Yes, the training manuals here. You buy them, and then you can train your bridge officer to use them. It's actually something that we don't explain very well in game. We're working on that. But so say I bought like this molten terrain for one of my engineers.
Go ahead and buy it.
Okay, but
we can show the people at least watching how you train things.
Right, but that's my lol nuts. I don't want to use them on this. This is my account.
Personal lol nuts.
That's my personal lol nuts. Yeah.
Well, then just. If you wouldn't mind humoring me, in case people watching don't know about this, click on a bridge officer.
That's what I was going to do next. Is, you buy one there, and then you go to, say, Chagrin here is an engineering officer. You go to his skills, and you can click through these, and once you've bought an ability, it'll pop up in one of these things, and this learn will be lit up. Right. And you click on it, and then you can use that power.
Right. This is obviously how it works on PC. Console's a bit different, but
it's
general
gist is the same. Yeah. Okay. And so that's how you do it.
So yeah.
Can you teach them without them knowing it first? Yes. So if you have the manual, you can just teach it to them.
Yep.
Then you have to set them. Let me show you in case you didn't know this part. You have to actually, once you've got it, this is not a good example. It's something where she has more than one thing. Oh, come on. I know you have more than one thing in something. I don't build buffs very well, you guys. I just don't.
It's because he's been.
Here we go. So if I wanted to make this attack pattern Omega instead of
so once you learn it, the button goes away and it's a bold.
And then they click that and it changes up there.
Right.
And then they can use that power
in
space.
Before you go away, click on stations if you would. Here you can set the defaults for your away team and your bridge stations as well.
Yeah. So if I want Balera to use this power here, I can just do that, and then she will.
Yep.
But I don't need it because she's got attack power and Omega already.
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go.
The more you know.
Yeah. So the answer to your question is buy the manuals, apply it to people. What dance is the Cardassian doing? That is the Thriller dance, or it's called Zombie Dance. Sorry, at least separate but legally distinct from.
That's not Thriller. I think that's Smooth.
Is that Smooth?
Looks like it.
You're right, that was Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smooth was one of the anniversary emotes this year, I think.
Or loot box? Like there were a few that were put in the loot crate giveaways, right?
But I don't have the loot crate giveaways ones, so it's got to be an anniversary one.
Probably.
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, Goats, welcome to the stream. Can we ever get an auto-populate feature for the Admiralty? Do you mean in order to claim all your ships?
No, to claim ships, possibly, because that's a common piece of feedback, and I think I'd like to look into that someday. But as far as like opening up, like duty officers, if you open a duty officer assignment, and you have the option checked, it'll just auto-populate.
Oh, gotcha. And we don't want to do that for Admiralty.
It's not a matter of not wanting to. It's that the system is not built to be optimizable. There's always going to be optional choices you can make. And if we were to make the choice to, say, optimize it for success, it would always use your best ship for success.
Gotcha.
Regardless of... There are many options for a player to say, well, I only need 50 in this, so I'm only going to use a Tier 2 ship. So I can save my good ones for the one later on. But if you optimize...
It'll always use your super best ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we could spend a lot of time fudging that logic and everything, but it's never going to meet everybody's expectations. And furthermore, the system's fairly easy. I know it can seem tedious if you're doing a lot of it time after time, but I just tell you, stop playing for a little while. Honestly. Don't make the game...
Stop playing Admiralty for a little while. Find something else. Play through home again.
But I don't think that... Admiralty wasn't designed to be complex enough to need an auto-populates feature.
Yeah.
So if you feel like it is, and it's not just the tedium getting to you, if you feel like it's tedious, then maybe we can talk about...
He did actually mean claiming the ships, so claiming the ships is something that we are thinking about. I can't say actively working on, but we are thinking about how we do that.
And I'll tell you, it came to the forefront for me because I made a new Dominion character and wanted to get all my Admiralty ships.
We just saw Lupe was selected by somebody... Lupe, in the EV suit, go to the doctor. Get rid of your injuries, man.
Oh, yeah. Fix that stuff.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Injuries and ship damage, again, is not something we explain very well in our game. I didn't know about it for a while.
Actually, some players have asked if they could have an option to spend their injury kits on other players.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Heal
their stuff.
Involuntarily, I gotta fix
Run around as being a doctor. That would be cool. I can see people. I can especially see the RP players like setting up a medical clinic on Ryza and being like, we do it for cheap.
But there's probably some players out there that don't even know that they have injuries.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. It's a part of the game that I wish we could message better.
Yeah. Or get rid of.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from season 2. Like.
That's the death penalty, man. That's why you don't die.
Why do we have a death penalty?
Because it's a video game. No, I don't know. These are
Jeremy angry.
These are
Jeremy sleepy.
They're not good ones.
These are the arguments of the Starship Jeremy. It's continuing mission.
I remember when we instituted the death penalty. It is kind of a, I don't know, artifact is the right word, but like that was of a certain time in the history of MMOs.
Where like, you know, WoW has the you have to run to get your corpse thing, yeah. Whereas our game has become very much more like, we're just going to let you tell a fun story.
But that said,
it's all the concept of risk versus reward. The idea is that higher difficulties of turn the lights back on.
It's just on a timer. It's not a...
The idea was that higher difficulties of the game would give you better rewards, but the risk is that you would get long-term debuffs that you had to fix.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the way that the game should be working now, but it was something that we felt was necessary at the time. Yeah. I say we. This
is when you were a fan.
I think I remember you criticizing it on Stoked, actually, when it came out.
No, I work here. I watch the party line.
Everything changes. Benpo99. No, that's not likely to ever be possible. I won't ever say never, but turn the light back on, Jeremy. What are you doing?
Why are you even here?
Controlling the ship from the bridge. That
is probably.
I will say Star Trek Bridge Crew does that very well, but you have to have a VR helmet for it.
No, you don't actually.
Oh, you don't?
No, you can play on PC now.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Star Trek Bridge Crew does that very well.
Actually, I mean, we're all a big family.
Yeah,
we're all a big CBS family.
We are not competing with any other Star Trek games.
Star Trek Bridge Crew is great. And they are launching TNG era DLC, I think, next week.
Have launched, I think, yeah.
It's already on PS4. The PC version, I think, is launching next week. Okay. I'm super psyched about that.
Yeah.
You can play that game is super fun. You should try it out. You try it out, yeah. And especially if you have a group of people that you just regularly play games with, like, forget about it. It's amazing.
Oh. Yeah. Lord Christos, is there any word on possible new bridges? Yes.
That is the word.
SOT Stats says Artemis is a great game too. You are correct, but we probably shouldn't talk about it.
They're not our license.
No. They're actually like in a weird legal area with this license, so definitely let's not. If you have ship damage, why don't you use the ship damage skin until they repair it? That's actually not a bad idea.
What?
But, like if the ship has damage, but that's tied to HP, not to the ship damage stat, and yeah.
It's a bigger conversation.
Yeah, I mean that's weird. There are implications.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sir Boulevard wants us to make an STO era DLC crossover with Bridge Crew. We would do that in a heartbeat. Maybe we'll ask them about it at STLV since
we might talk to them about allowing them to do it.
Right. We wouldn't do it ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, just straight up, I would love to see more STO stuff.
Yeah.
In the Star Trek ecosystem, like just. Think of, like, people think of STO as a video game, but, like, I think of STO as a setting, right? Like, we have a timeline, and we have our own uniforms, we have our own ships. Like,
someday,
I would love to have, like, STO comics and more books and have
I really think
STO
we should work with somebody
games.
to just take all... We have at least one book's worth of fiction written for this game. I would love to just collect it into a book where you can sell it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy who can lay out that book for you. Who
is that guy in Thomas Maroney?
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about...
In all your free time?
Well, I'm just...
Thomas has a bottomless void.
Wait, if you have room to make another publication, I need a Jace book. I don't know about what, but those things are...
No, a Jace needs a coffee table book. Like that, like with art and like...
Yeah.
The trick would be convincing, either CBS or Perfect World that they can make money off of it, which I don't know if that's true.
I don't care.
Print on demands or something.
Yeah.
But
we really want to work with Modifius on a Star Trek Adventure setting too, but that's
it would
it's
definitely take a lot more time than $20 worth of time.
All right, make me a $20.
I will give you a $20. Wait! I will throw in $1. $21.
There, now I'm doing it.
That's more than you've gotten paid for like some of the ships you've made for this game.
1,000 hours. That's true though.
Yeah, it is. It's 100% true. Fix the camera controls on console. What's wrong with the camera controls on console? This is, ladies and gentlemen, what Jason Kuartek has done here is given us a perfect example of how not to report a bug. Because if you just tell us, fix the camera controls on console, then we have to say, what's wrong with the camera controls on console? And then it becomes a whole conversation where you might not even respond to us.
I love when the response to that question, though, is they're
broken. And you're like, well, that's not getting fixed then. Right. Whatever the problem is, we don't know, so we can't fix it.
And when I say I love, That's not what I mean.
He's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Kyle Kidd, when you say an overhaul on the visuals for the characters, what do you mean? Because there's a lot of like the characters, like look, the Jem'Hadar look amazing. Like a lot of our characters, new stuff looks really, really good.
Yeah, we did just overhaul Jem'Hadar and Cardassians. If you things like that. Obviously, we're constantly looking at the visual fidelity of the game and making changes and upgrades over time, and it's going to happen piecemeal, like with the Jem'Hadar and the Cardassians, right? And
it's got to have a reason for us to invest in that as well, instead of, as we've said before, like we always have to make choices. Do we want to make this thing better, or do we want to make this real cool thing that'll keep the lights on?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
there's a tension between improving old things and making new things, and unfortunately, like the reality of the situation is, you guys like new things better than you like improved old things. Like that's just
data, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
and we know that a lot of you like old things as well. It's just we have to look at all of you
together
in
one box.
Right. I mean, we have data about this.
Base.
We know that this is the truth.
Yeah.
But that said, there are still lots of little things going on in the background, things that we're still working on. We've had it kind of on the back burner for a while, but we're slowly making progress. And character art is one of those things where, I think in the future you could see some updates at some point.
Let me give you an example, and this is something that is definitely not happening right now. But this guy in a suit, I've noticed that that's a little low quality. I bet we could do better these days. But we're probably not going to make a new suit unless we come out with like a holodeck
James Bond expansion or a holodeck expansion,
Right.
Where you go to like the what's that TOS
Dixon Hill
or Dixon Hill or the what am I thinking?
The piece of the action.
Yeah, because then we'd have an excuse to make new suit assets.
And I really, this is something we talk about on the stream all the time. I hope we do a holodeck expansion someday.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Real.
But that's a kind of like. I don't like the term excuse, but it really is. It's a reason to do
make
something.
some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We wouldn't normally.
When we were talking about the Excelsior 9 years ago, when the stream started, I kind of outlined why I was able to get the Excelsior made, because there were logical reasons why to do that ship instead of some other ship, right? And so it's
part of it was kind of testing out a new source of ship art.
Right, and it was sort of like, I mean, we would have, a strategic decision we could have done is like, okay, we'll have him make a brand new ship that we're going to put in the C-store or whatever, right? And so on one level, that would have been the smarter thing to do, but I was able to frame it as, okay, yeah, but if we're testing out something new, so we need a really clear bar to hit and a really clear language to speak for. And so the Excelsior was the right answer in that case. So it's all about like finding those cases where you have a really good situation where you can justify going back and touching up the old stuff. We all want the game to be amazing, right? We all want the game to be 100%, and we do our best, but it's just a balance of time and people, and some things got to give sometimes.
So, as Selendor makes a good point, which is that the stream started as the STO Season 1 launch stream. But I actually do, we should wrap up because it's 6 o'clock. But I do want to answer one final question that I saw up here. It was from our good friend Benpo999, I believe.
There it is. Will you ever...
No, that wasn't it.
No, but that's from Benpo.
That is Benpo, yeah, but maybe he didn't ask that. All right, I don't know who asked it. I'm sorry. Somebody... Oh, there it is. It's from Sentinel1694. Wants to know if the rest of the year is still focused on DS9 for Anniversary or more DS9 story fun. We don't talk about upcoming content. But I will say you might find more. You might find more about our upcoming plans for the rest of the year sooner than you think.
Can I tease that just a little bit more?
Sure. No. Actually, I know what you're gonna do.
No, STLV is in like a week and a half, right? And we always want something big to announce for STLV. So I think
we're gonna
bet your bit it's coming.
Well, I mean, we'll personally be there for STLV.
Yeah.
We'll personally be there.
Personally be there.
Personally be
all questions about data directed to Jeremy. All questions about math directed to Jeremy. All questions about ships. Is it a visual question? No, directed to Jeremy.
Like a
you're gonna get things on Teams. It's just like, hey Jeremy, are you around? Just have an important question for you. Here's this fan. Have fun.
I'm gonna have to walk the whole convention floor wearing a Gorn mask or something, so people don't corner me and ask me questions.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they'll say about that. He'll be here today, Gorn tomorrow. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.